Chapter 1811, Daybreak Sword. Chapter 1811, Daybreak Sword. River of Time. Not long after Fang Yuan entered with myriad-year flying warship, Gu Lu Ru intercepted him. "You are Fang Yuan. I am Heavenly Court's Gu Lu Ru, I came to take your life." Gu Lu Ru was sitting in the wooden wheelchair, his face was sickly pale but his eyes were ice cold. The moment he finished speaking, lumps of gray-white light shot towards Fang Yuan like meteors. Boom boom boom. These gray-white lights were completely blocked by myriad-year flying warship. But myriad-year flying warship also shook intensely from the explosions. This person is a time path great expert. His time path killer move is amplified in the River of Time. Heavenly Court's foundation is indeed unfathomable, it hasn't even been that long but an old-timer has already appeared. The immortals inside myriad-year flying warship were stunned. "I am afraid you don't have the ability to take my life." Fang Yuan sneered. He was slightly surprised at first, but he recognized this person a moment later. In the previous life's war, when Longevity Heaven invaded Heavenly Court, Bing Sichuan had given all the information of the battle situation in Heavenly Court to Fang Yuan, in order to gain his trust. And Gu Lu Ru had awakened and participated in that battle. Therefore, Fang Yuan was able to quickly recognize Gu Lu Ru and even knew about all his methods. Immediately, Fang Yuan fought Gu Lu Ru with myriad-year flying warship. The battle ensued, causing astonishing waves in the surroundings. Gu Lu Ru's moves were exquisite with many concealed moves within them. He was clearly a time path great expert but used a style similar to wisdom path. In fact, his main cultivation path was time path but he also cultivated wisdom path. Fang Yuan felt like he was facing a powerful chess player. If he was even a bit careless, he would be dragged into the other's rhythm and fall into countless traps. Fortunately, Fang Yuan knew about Gu Lu Ru's battle style. Myriad-year flying warship ran amok and destroyed Gu Lu Ru's arrangements. The long battle showed no results. Gu Lu Ru chose to retreat. "Didn't you come to take my life?" Fang Yuan shouted coldly from the bow of the ship while giving chase. Gu Lu Ru sneered, "I am not in a hurry, so what are you in a hurry for?" "Fang Yuan, you are indeed a demon whose name causes a commotion in the world, you have some skills. By the time I return, I will have already deciphered your tiny ship and will then take your life." Although half of his body was paralyzed, the wheelchair he was sitting on was a compact immortal Gu house. The two wheels moved rapidly on the surface of the river, bringing Gu Lu Ru away at an extremely fast speed. "Lord Fang Yuan, let us activate torrential charge," a variant human Gu immortal suggested. The killer move torrential charge could change the flow of the surrounding water of the River of Time and help myriad-year flying warship move with an astonishing speed. "There is no hurry." Fang Yuan's eyes flickered with light for a moment before rejecting the suggestion. Use Daybreak Sword instead. No one had the guts to go against his order. Myriad-year flying warship's aura surged as a blinding white light shot out. From the silver white light bubbled the water of the River of Time, from which countless strands of silver light emerged. The silver rays quickly condensed and took shape, transforming into many sharp sword-like blades that shot out violently. What? Gu Lu Ru had naturally been paying attention to Fang Yuan's movements and immediately discovered this. Thoughts surged and clashed in his mind as he rapidly deduced, this is the first time Fang Yuan has revealed this time path killer move. Truly wondrous. It actually uses the water of the River of Time to extract traces of the sharpest power of time path. Although they are shaped like swords, they are essentially time path Dao marks. If I am hit by this, I won't leave unharmed. Gu Lu Ru's mind jolted slightly, inwardly astonished at the power of this killer move. The killer move itself was at rank 8 level and Fang Yuan had further elevated it by ingeniously using the River of Time, thus increasing its might far beyond ordinary rank 8 killer moves. This demon's talents are terrifying. Not only can he use reverse flow river, he has even begun researching the River of Time. Gu Lu Ru's wariness towards Fang Yuan deepened by another level and his killing intent surged. I can't let this demon live. I must use all my strength to get rid of him, otherwise, he will be a huge threat in the future. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Silver swords shot towards Gu Lu Ru. Gu Lu Ru was soon injured, his defensive killer move was unable to block the sharp swords. Kill him. Some variant human Gu immortals shouted, their morale surging. After they killed Heavenly Court's rank 8 the previous time, their confidence had soared and they even treated Gu Lu Ru as prey. With their rank 7 cultivation levels, they had hunted down a rank 8 great expert of Heavenly Court. This sense of achievement and stimulation shook both their bodies and minds. Fang Yuan laughed heartily as he ridiculed Gu Lu Ru, "Didn't you want to take my life? Now it looks like your own aged life is on the line." Gu Lu Ru snorted coldly but did not reply, only escaping rapidly. His wheelchair was already riddled with marks. Fang Yuan laughed, "Scared like a stray dog, you have brought shame to Heavenly Court's reputation." The sharp swords were exquisitely controlled by him, cutting Gu Lu Ru's robe and flesh. Gu Lu Ru was silent. Fang Yuan jeered, "Looks like there are only rubbish like you in Heavenly Court, so much for it being the #1 force in the world. It seems Heavenly Court is nothing much after all." Gu Lu Ru heard Fang Yuan disgracing Heavenly Court and could not endure anymore. "Shut up. Is Heavenly Court's greatness something a petty demon like you can understand?" Swoosh! Before he even finished speaking, a sword brushed past his head, cutting away most of his hair along with skin. Bright red blood spilled out continuously. Gu Lu Ru cried out in pain and slammed the wheelchair, which burst out with an unprecedented speed. Chase! He can't last for long. That's right, his immortal Gu was destroyed by Daybreak Sword, so his wheelchair is starting to break. Many of Fang Yuan's subordinates shouted, their morale was at an all-time high at this moment. Indeed, Gu Lu Ru's wheelchair was constantly crumbling, leaving behind a large amount of fragmented Gu worm corpses in its path. But Fang Yuan restrained his expression and smiled indifferently. "Stop." Ah. The immortals were surprised, but they did not dare to disobey him and immediately combined their strength to stop Myriad Year flying warship. Gu Lu Ru, who was running for his life, saw this scene. His whole body shook as a stifled feeling rose up in his chest, but he was unable to vent it. Fang Yuan smiled and commented leisurely while sizing up the empty space above the river in front, "What a great time path Gu formation, I wonder which Heavenly Court member is specially waiting for me." "You are talking to me, Li Huang." Li Huang's voice was transmitted, and at the same time, a large formation revealed itself. Most of the Gu immortal subordinates of Fang Yuan were stupefied at this sight. Some variant human Gu immortals only managed to react after a while, so this was a trap. That old man acted so well. We almost fell into the trap. If it were not for the wise and mighty Lord Fang Yuan, we might be in a terrible situation. Gu Lu Ru slowly flew over with a dark face. To play this trick, he had intentionally given up on an immortal Gu and even got injured. Blood flowed wildly, but they were actually self-inflicted injuries. But who could have thought his mutilation plan became a show that Fang Yuan watched with leisure. Li Huang said with a deep voice, "Looks like you are familiar with this river suppression lotus ceiling formation." Fang Yuan admitted openly, "Indeed, I suffered a lot because of this in the previous life." "So what if you recognize it, your life ends here?" Gu Lu Ru sneered. As his voice landed, two immortal Gu houses appeared on the left and right of Fang Yuan. One immortal Gu house was elegant and grand, the orange roof resembled cranes with their wings spread out. The immortal Gu house was radiating 3 layers of autumn light. It was quite extraordinary. It was 3 autumn yellow crane platform. Another immortal Gu house was a huge lever that was white like jade. There were 7 huge sharks in front of the lever. They had sharp teeth and were dragging the huge lever ahead. It was Shark Flow Lever. Fang Yuan destroyed present and past pavilion, an eternal yacht. Heavenly Court was still reconstructing them. 3 autumn yellow crane platform and Shark Flow levers constructions had already begun long ago. They were completed recently and were sent to take part in this battle. 3 autumn yellow crane platform blocked Fang Yuan's retreat route. Gu Lu Ru moved and once again installed Myriad Year flying warship. Shark Flow lever drew a beautiful arc in the periphery of the battlefield and picked up Li Huang before joining the battlefield. A large battle ensued, causing the river to surge and set off countless violent waves. This rank 8 immortal Gu house has such strong defense. Li Huang and Gu Lu Ru were stunned. Myriad Year flying warship displayed extremely powerful defense, causing all the killer moves of Heavenly Court side to be ineffective. It showed a stance of standing on the spot and letting the attacks hit it. After another while of fighting, Fang Yuan laughed brightly, "Gu Lu Ru, I have seen through your moves. Saying so, Myriad your flying warship slammed at the weak point. Not good. Gu Lu Ru's expression changed. At the next moment, his time path killer move that was hindering Myriad your flying warship broke loudly, the backlash caused him to cough out blood. Stop him. Shark Flow Lever and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane Platform used their killer moves. Charge through. Fong Yuan instructed lightly. Explosions burst out as Myriad your flying warship charged out of the battlefield with an unreasonable momentum. Don't chase. Gu Lu Ru quickly stopped Li Huang, who wanted to give chase. He said with a dark expression and heavy voice, "This immortal Gu house is worthy of being at rank 8 level, we can't stop it." Damn it! Li Huang clenched his fists, he felt quite stifled. He was a fire path Gu immortal and could only fight in the river of time with Shark Flow Lever. If Fong Yuan had fallen into the trap, he would have a platform to display his might, but unfortunately, Fong Yuan did not give him this chance. However, what made Li Huang even more depressed had yet to come. Fong Yuan saw Heavenly Court did not give chase and immediately brought Myriad your flying warship to a stop, smiling, "Friends, my Myriad your flying warship still has a move called Myriad your hunting, please appraise it." Heavenly Court side was quickly on guard, they smelled a strange fragrance coming from Myriad your flying warship. Not long later, countless beast roars resounded from every direction and were approaching closer. These are year beasts, ancient year beasts and even immemorial year beasts. There are too many year beasts, they seem to have formed a beast tide. Li Huang and Gu Lu Ru felt their hearts shaking at this sight. It turned out Fong Yuan's rank 8 immortal Gu house was not just about collision, it still had such a terrifying killer move. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1812, Second Battle in the River of Time. Chapter 1812 Second Battle in the River of Time. Inside Myriad your flying warship, He Lu Lan and the rest felt their hearts throbbing. The scene was too grand, the year beast army was charging towards them from all directions with a great momentum. Such an amazing killer move. No wonder this move was never used inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Too many year beasts are lured in, if it was used inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, it would definitely lead to a great catastrophe. Heavenly Court side was also shaken. Myriad your flying warship. Gu Lu Ru mumbled this name with a serious expression. Li Huang was also solemn as he spoke, "This is already a beast tide now, its power is actually so great." Even a legendary character like him was highly impressed at such a majestic sight. Fong Yuan showed a slight smile. He had derived Myriad year hunting from immemorial year beast fishing formation and developed it to its limit. With years flow like water immortal Gu as the core and the amplification from the river of time, it resulted in an extraordinary power. Countless beasts roared in the beast tide. Boom boom boom. Heavenly Court attacked the year beast tsunami with all kinds of killer moves. Waves after waves of year beasts were killed. Heavenly Court's 2 time path immortal Gu houses were both of rank 7 level and could match rank 8 battle strength, they had no issue in dealing with most of the year beasts. But the problem was, what was the use in simply killing these year beasts? As long as Myriad year flying warship still existed, there would be an endless flow of year beasts. This was an enslavement path battle tactic to consume Heavenly Court's battle strength. The explosive killer moves that Heavenly Court's people used expended a lot of immortal essence. If we fight with these year beasts, we will be falling into Fong Yuan's scheme. We need to destroy Myriad year flying warship and this will all end. A rank 7 Gu immortal inside 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform suggested. The moment he had finished speaking, a Gu immortal beside him spoke, "But we already know how sturdy Myriad year flying warship is. How can we adopt the tactic of attacking directly?" The rank 7 Gu immortal was speechless. This. Immediately after, he heard shouting in his surroundings, "Careful! Fong Yuan is coming over again." Myriad year flying warship speed rose, but instead of retreating, it charged directly into Shark Flow Lever. Such audacity! Li Huang, who was inside Shark Flow Lever, shouted, Fong Yuan actually dared to come back, he clearly looked down on them. Immediately, Heavenly Court's two immortal Gu houses and Time Path great expert Gu Lu Ru surrounded and attacked Myriad Year Flying Warship. Myriad Year Flying Warship took the waves of attacks firmly as countless silver swords shone around it and then shot out like a rainstorm. Both sides went at each other, the intensity of the battle reached an extreme level immediately. Not good. Fong Yuan is trying to delay us so that this Year Beast army can surround us. Gu Lu Ru saw Fong Yuan's plan. Li Huang smiled coldly, as long as we wholeheartedly concentrate on breaking through the siege, so what if there are even more of these Year Beasts? Gu Lu Ru sighed, don't forget we still have the river suppression lotus ceiling formation behind us. Li Huang was stumped, he had forgotten about that in this moment of urgency. After being reminded, his mind jolted as he cursed, this scoundrel Fong Yuan is truly insidious and vicious. Heavenly Court had constructed the river suppression lotus ceiling formation painstakingly, it could slowly drift along the surface of the river of time. There were a large number of Gu immortals garrisoned inside, controlling their respective formation cores. If this large formation was destroyed, Heavenly Court's losses would not only be a lot of immortal Gu but also these rank 7 Gu immortals. Moreover, they probably would not be able to construct another river suppression lotus ceiling formation within a short period of time. Heavenly Court's situation was quite awkward. They wanted to use the river suppression lotus ceiling formation to ambush Fong Yuan, but it was seen through by Fong Yuan. Now, this formation instead became Heavenly Court's weakness and was used by Fong Yuan. The river suppression lotus ceiling formation could float but its speed was very slow, there was no chance of it escaping the current battle. Let's first slowly recall the Gu immortals inside the formation. Gu Lu Ru said after a while of thinking. Li Huang, however, said at almost the same time, kill Fong Yuan, everything will be settled once we kill this source of evil. The two Gu immortals glanced at each other, at this crucial moment, they had different thoughts. Roar! Because of Fong Yuan, the frontmost Year Beasts reached the battlefield. At the lead were 3 immemorial Year Beasts. These immemorial Year Beasts had a tough physique, they endured Heavenly Court's bombardment and charged right into the battlefield of immortal Gu houses. Seeking death. Li Huang shouted in fury, he controlled the huge sharks in front of Shark Flow Lever to bite at them. At the same time, he also activated Shark Flow Lever's killer move, within a dozen breaths of time, 2 immemorial Year Beasts were beaten to death one after the other. Foolish clowns. Li Huang's killing intent was leaking when he heard Gu Lu Ru's shout, help me quickly. Li Huang had gone to deal with the immemorial Year Beasts, while Gu Lu Ru and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform attacked Myriad Year Flying Warship and brought the battle to a temporary deadlock. But soon after, Fong Yuan activated Daybreak Sword and bombarded the river suppression lotus ceiling formation. This formation was strong inside and weak outside, it was originally meant to deal with the Stone Lotus Island, but after this vicious attack by Fong Yuan, it immediately became unstable with many areas crumbling apart. The Gu immortals inside the formation cores lost their lives immediately. With Myriad Year Flying Warship's extremely tough defense, Gu Lu Ru and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform were unable to do any harm to it. They were forced to block Fong Yuan's attacks to defend the retreating Gu immortals inside the large formation. As such, Fong Yuan gained the initiative, he could casually attack anywhere he wanted. Gu Lu Ru and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform were in a miserable state, unable to cope with the attacks from all directions. Li Huang saw that the situation was bad, he quickly detoured and attacked Myriad Year Flying Warship from the back. But Fong Yuan had no fear. If it were him alone, he might not be able to pay attention to all sides, but he had many experienced Gu immortal subordinates inside the vessel to help him. And to get the battle merit of killing another rank 8, their eyes were bloodshot with excitement. Fong Yuan stood on the bow of the boat from the beginning, regardless of how dangerous and chaotic it was outside. Suddenly, he saw a gap in Gu Lu Ru's defense and activated a killer move. Spring Scissors. Spring Scissors flew out, it was not targeted towards Gu Lu Ru, instead it dodged his obstruction, and, snip, beheaded a female immortal. Gu Lu Ru's heart jumped with fright, isn't this Xianxia's trump card method? Fong Yuan has already grasped it and even modified it to suit his rank 7 cultivation. Fong Yuan laughed heartily as he activated Summer Fan, which was also at rank 7 level. Li Huang was unable to pay attention to both sides and could only look on as wind howled and blew even more holes in the river suppression lotus ceiling formation, instantly destroying several immortal Gu. Ha ha ha, I want to kill them, can you stop me? Fong Yuan laughed loudly and mockingly. Li Huang's eyes burned with anger as he shouted, "Scoundrel, I will grind your bones to ashes." Boom! An immemorial year beast rammed into myriad year flying warship, slightly tilting the rank 8 immortal Gu house. Heavenly Court's side was stumped. Almost at an instant, the two rank 8 great experts reacted. It turns out Fong Yuan can only lure in the year beast tide and not control them. It even seems like these year beasts' target is myriad year flying warship. After discovering this secret, Li Huang and Gu Lu Ru had the urge to cough blood. They had fought wholeheartedly for so long, but it turned out they were actually blocking the enemy for Fong Yuan. No wonder Fong Yuan did not watch from the sidelines, instead charging over to pester them. Fong Yuan was helpless about this. He had already done his best in the current situation. Using years flow like water to attract year beasts and incite a year beast tide, this was the power of time path. If he could control this year beast army, that would be enslavement path's power. Year beasts continued to come in from all around, making the battlefield extremely cramped. Previously, Heavenly Court was still bombarding this year beast tide and had slightly slowed them down. But because of Fong Yuan attacking river suppression lotus ceiling formation constantly and killing many rank 7 Gu immortals, Heavenly Court's side had no time to attend to the beast tide. Die, Fong Yuan! Get lost! Li Huang shouted, but Fong Yuan controlled myriad year flying warship to cling onto Shark Flow Lever or 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform. The year beast's target was myriad year flying warship, but because of this, Shark Flow Lever and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform also met with calamity. Don't you want to get rid of me? I am right in front of you now, come on, attack me. Fong Yuan laughed. Li Huang's eyes were bloodshot with anger, even Gu Lu Ru's breathing hastened as he looked rigidly at Fong Yuan with a deep cold gaze filled with killing intent. The 3 immortal Gu houses soon did not even have space to move. If someone looked from afar, they could only see year beasts rushing to the battlefield in the center. These year beasts, ancient year beasts, and immemorial year beasts were packed so tightly that they looked like a sphere of ants. And the sphere was getting tighter and denser along with getting increasingly larger. The 3 immortal Gu houses in the middle of the sphere seemed to have turned into meat grinders, even an immemorial year beast would be ground to death within a dozen seconds. Li Huang and Gu Lu Ru attacked furiously. The river suppression lotus ceiling formation was already destroyed completely. Heavenly Court's efforts this time had all gone to waste. Li Huang and Gu Lu Ru had already tried their best to save any Gu immortal they could, but most of them still died miserably at Fong Yuan's hands. Let's leave now, otherwise there will be no survivors. Gu Lu Ru called out. Without the large formation hindering Fong Yuan rampaged in the battlefield with myriad year flying warship, no one was able to stop him. Heavenly Court's battle tactics had failed completely. Fong Yuan, just wait, you won't be able to be arrogant for long, you will die by my hand sooner or later. Li Huang said with clenched teeth. This was the first time he fought with Fong Yuan, and he already felt extreme hatred, anger, and disgust because of Fong Yuan's actions. This demon was truly insidious and crafty. Humph. Li Huang, I think you are the one who is arrogant. Myriad year flying warship suddenly erupted, the killer move torrential charge activated under it. At its surroundings were daybreak swords. The silver swords pierced into the torrent and exploded with an unimaginable speed. These two moves can be combined. Li Huang cried out in shock, caught off guard. Myriad year flying warship directly collided into the damaged Shark Flow Lever. Bam! Amidst the loud sound, Shark Flow Lever was directly destroyed, the remaining huge sharks dying on the spot. At the crucial moment, Li Huang activated his proudest killer move, Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. Myriad year flying warship destroyed Shark Flow Lever and collided straight into Li Huang with its remaining momentum. Li Huang's Verdant Sun Flame Cloak shook intensely, it was like a prairie fire, but after the collision, it immediately weakened to become a small flame. Li Huang, it is time for your death. Fang Yuan's eyes shone sharply as he used both Summer Fan and Spring Scissors to attack Li Huang. Rank 8. Li Huang stared with his eyes wide open as he felt a fatal threat from Summer Fan and Spring Scissors. He did not even have time to breathe as he focused everything on defense. But when he took on the killer moves, Spring Scissors and Summer Fan revealed their previous state, they were only at rank 7. Fang Yuan, you deceived me. Li Huang roared, his attention was completely on Fang Yuan. Immediately after, Myriad Your Flying Warship followed. Li Huang's eyes almost popped out as his sight became filled with the large silver figure of Myriad Your Flying Warship. Boom! Li Huang's flame cloak was completely extinguished, his chest caved in, from which blood, mixed with pieces of organs, spurted out like a fountain. Whoosh! Countless silver swords attacked at the next second. They were as densely packed as bees, they pierced deep into Li Huang's body and exited out from all directions. Li Huang's body was moved around in all directions by daybreak swords, shaking intensely in the process. The sharp light in his pupils dissipated rapidly. Before death, his final thought was still disbelief, I am actually going to die here. Retreat! Gu Lu Ru shouted with teary eyes. Veins bulged on his forehead and his whole face looked malevolent. Li Huang might be stronger than Gu Lu Ru, but in this river of time, without the protection of an immortal Gu house, he was definitely more disadvantaged. It was not that Gu Lu Ru did not think of going to save him, but Fang Yuan had prepared for so long, how could he give him the chance to rescue? The tightly packed year beasts were also a huge hindrance. Gu Lu Ru controlled 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform and left the battlefield rapidly. Fang Yuan gave chase with surging killing intent. Heavenly Court Gu Immortals, this will be your final resting place. Gu Lu Ru gave a muffled groan as he concentrated on escaping. He imprinted this disgrace deep in his heart, righteous is falling while demonic is rising, sigh. The most sensible option now is to preserve our strength and fight again in the future. Fang Yuan, you can continue to be arrogant for the time being. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1813, Fearsome Beast Tide. Chapter 1813 Fearsome Beast Tide. Fast winds and ferocious waves surged in the river of time. Myriad Your Flying Warship continually shot out daybreak flying swords like a storm raging towards 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform. Inside 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform, many Central Continent Gu Immortals were resolved for death as they said to Gu Lu Ru, Lord, please leave first. Gu Lu Ru hesitated. These people continued, Central Continent can do without us, but it cannot lose you. This situation is too dangerous, we will all be killed if we try to escape together. Moreover, Heavenly Court has also sent the command. Fairy Ziwei had already sent the command for 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform to block Myriad Your Flying Warship while Gu Lu Ru escaped. Gu Lu Ru heaved a sigh, I didn't expect the situation to escalate to this, everyone, your sacrifices won't be in vain. He jumped out of 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform and dived into the river of time, escaping rapidly. Fang Yuan saw this and immediately turned Myriad Your Flying Warship around to give chase, but 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform blocked him without regard for itself. Fang Yuan was blocked by 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform and was unable to get rid of it within a short period, he could only watch as Gu Lu Ru entered a tributary of the river of time and escaped to the outside world. In that case, you can all go die. Fang Yuan snorted coldly as he concentrated the attacks on 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform. By now, 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform was already an exhausted force. Under Myriad Your Flying Warship's violent and repeated collisions, it completely broke into pieces. Over 10 Gu Immortals fell into the river, and under the extreme chaos, the bloodthirsty year beasts in the surroundings attacked these Gu Immortals. You beasts, get lost! Fang Yuan shouted as he maneuvered Myriad Your Flying Warship to retrieve these battle spoils. But there were too many year beasts, waves after waves of the beast tide collided into Myriad Your Flying Warship. During this short delay, many of the Gu Immortals were swallowed by the berserk year beasts without leaving behind even a piece of flesh. Boom! A giant immemorial year ox crashed into the side of Myriad Your Flying Warship like a meteor. Myriad Your Flying Warship was almost overturned and was only able to break away after a while. The warship's shape had already deformed with 2 large holes on it. It was the result of the ox horns colliding into it. Fang Yuan's subordinates were flustered. Repair it quickly. So many Gu worms were destroyed. This immemorial year beast has extraordinary strength. Fang Yuan was surprised and sized his surroundings carefully. Year beasts were everywhere in the surroundings, some flew, some ran on the water, while some moved underwater, with all of them having myriad-year flying warship as their target. In this period of time, 8 immemorial year beasts had surrounded Fang Yuan, some still afar while some near. That immemorial year ox just now had smooth skin and hair that shone with golden luster. Its hooves stood stably on the surface of the water, even the chaotic year beast army could not move it. A sharp light flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. Didn't his 12 zodiac battle formation lack an immemorial year ox? Even if he already had an immemorial year ox, Fang Yuan would think of replacing it. The ancient battle formation's might was completely related to the strength of the immemorial year beasts in the formation, and this immemorial year ox was outstanding among immemorial year beasts. But this is not the time to subdue it. Fang Yuan gave a bitter smile as he commanded, "Retreat." Myriad-year flying warship began to escape as well. But no matter where it ran to, year beasts would block its path. Woof woof woof. An immemorial year dog blocked the path. Its body was agile with strong muscles, its eyes shone emitted lightning and its fur was glossy golden. Myriad-year flying warship repeatedly activated daybreak swords, but when they hit its body, they immediately broke, only managing to cut its fur. Woof! The immemorial year dog jumped with such force that it immediately neared the bow of the boat. It opened its mouth, revealing its blade-like sharp silver teeth. Crack! The bow of myriad-year flying warship was directly bit into pieces. Leave quickly, this dog has time path immortal Gu on it. Fang Yuan's expression was chilly. Immemorial year dog was also a species he lacked, but under this chaotic situation, he simply did not want to fight against these year beasts which he had no information on. Fortunately, the year beasts were also fighting and suppressing each other. There was only one immemorial year dog with the most abundant immemorial year monkeys. Fang Yuan cleverly turned myriad-year flying warship towards these immemorial year monkeys, then myriad-year flying warship moved through the gaps between the year beasts like a flash of silver lightning. The immemorial year dog was stopped by these immemorial year monkeys. After escaping like this all the way, they finally arrived in front of a tributary of the River of Time. Myriad-year flying warship had to struggle to pass through the tributary and return to the outside world. A large amount of year beasts actually gave chase without giving up. Squeak squeak squeak. A small immemorial year rat suddenly appeared and it ran into myriad-year flying warship like a flash of golden lightning. Oh no! Fang Yuan, stop it. It is all up to you. The immortal's expression changed. Myriad-year flying warship was strong outside and weak inside. If the immemorial year rat ran amok inside, the whole immortal Gu house might be destroyed by it. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan also did not care about concealing his strength. He erupted with rank 8 cultivation and appeared in front of the immemorial year rat. He activated the true rank 8 level spring scissors. It flew nimbly in the narrow space and snipped the immemorial year rat. This immemorial year beast was very small, only the size of an adult fist, and was like an extremely hard golden wart. Spring scissors sniped its body but produced clanging sounds like striking a hard stone, even producing yellow sparks. Fang Yuan was already using all his strength, but this immemorial year rat was not afraid. Its eyes shone brightly as it saw a time path immortal Gu. It bit the immortal Gu and made its escape. It was extremely fast, disappearing from Fang Yuan's sight within a blink of an eye. Lord Fang Yuan, this is bad. Rank 8 years flow like water. Immortal Gu was taken away by this immemorial year rat. Fang Yuan laughed happily, even rejoicing slightly as he said, "This is my disguise, although it is a time path immortal Gu, it is not the real years flow like water." Fang Yuan had personally deduced the myriad year hunting killer move. How could he not be aware of its enormous flaw? Therefore, he had been prepared and had arranged a bait in myriad year flying warship. When Myriad Year Flying Warship was damaged to a certain extent, they would throw out this bait and cause a fight among the immemorial year beasts, thus creating a chance to escape. This method might not fool Heavenly Court's Gu immortals, but immemorial year beasts had limited intelligence and were not like Heavenly Court's rank 8 grade experts. Sure enough, after the immemorial year rat took away the bait, the year beast army immediately felt a strong attraction. They abandoned Myriad Year Flying Warship and surrounded this small golden rat. Myriad Year Flying Warship was finally able to get rid of this terrifying year beast tide. After confirming it was safe, Fang Yuan immediately moved the rank 8 immortal Gu house into his immortal aperture. There were bumps and scratches all around Myriad Year Flying Warship, its sharp bow was chewed down, and there were large holes on its sides. There were also several claw marks on the deck that looked like they were cut by a giant blade. Countless mortal Gu used in Myriad Year Flying Warship had died. Many immortal Gu were also injured, especially Precaution Immortal Gu. Its injuries were the heaviest since it was the core of Myriad Year Flying Warship's defense. Even Year's Flow like Water Immortal Gu had some damage. It appeared like Myriad Year Flying Warship still maintained its framework and looked intact, but if it were to be entangled for a while longer, it would be unrecognizable and the losses would be heavy. The River of Time was one of the secluded domains of heaven and earth. An inestimable scale of living beings lived here. There was no lack of powerful beings among these time path living beings. Even Fang Yuan would not be able to deal with them within a short period of time. The ones that left Fang Yuan the deepest impression were the 3 immemorial year beasts with golden fur. But, this is all within my calculations. The immemorial year beasts that attacked Myriad Year Flying Warship have all been marked. I can easily go find them later and subdue them. I need to take the risk if I want to finish the 12 Zodiac battle formation. Fang Yuan sighed inwardly. The 12 Zodiac battle formation required 12 different species of immemorial year beasts: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, money, chicken, dog, and pig. In the River of Time, at every set interval of time, a certain kind of immemorial year beast would be more commonly seen than others, becoming the strongest year species of that time period and suppressing other groups. However, in the next dozen years, this species of year beast would fall down from the strongest to the weakest, heavily pushed aside and attacked by other year beasts. But the year beasts that could survive these attacks would often be the strongest within the same level. They could not survive if they were not strong. Just like the immemorial year ox, immemorial year dog and immemorial year rat that Fang Yuan just encountered, they were the best evidence. Most of the immemorial year beasts were easy to gather because of their high quantity. But some species, because their whole group was at the lowest point, were not only rare but also had very powerful individual strength. Myriad Year Flying Warship's recovery was not a difficult issue. Although countless mortal Gu were lost, Fang Yuan had enough of them. Injuries of immortal Gu were the most troublesome, but Fang Yuan had the Gu as before formation. Fang Yuan's refinement path foundation was too robust, he could restore these immortal Gu. It is just that those central continent Gu immortals' immortal apertures are all completely empty. Looks like Fairy Ziwei has learned her lesson. Fang Yuan smiled. The immortal apertures inside those central continent rank 7 corpses were empty and barren, all their resources were moved out before the battle. After the first battle in the River of Time, Fairy Ziwei was afraid these resources would only nourish Fang Yuan, their enemy. Fang Yuan did not care about it. To him, these resources would only be icing on the cake and were not important. Next, I need to repair Myriad Year Flying Warship, then go to the River of Time and capture the lacking immemorial year beasts. Then I will explore Dream Realms. There is already a large pile of Dream Realms extorted from Southern Border's righteous path. Fang Yuan was pressed for time and kept track of it closely. Not long later, it would be time for the 5 Xiang's public grotto heaven to open and for the ancient bet to end. I can only do my best. Fang Yuan sighed. At the same time, Fairy Ziwei sighed bitterly in Heavenly Court. She was filled with worries. They had lost miserably in the River of Time once again. What should they do now? The methods and strength revealed by Myriad Year Flying Warship made even her feel a sense of helplessness. She knew Fang Yuan's strategy. It was to bait them inside the River of Time, but this matter was related to Red Lotus true inheritance. Heavenly Court had no choice but to take the bait. Even if it is a bloody pit, we need to clench our teeth and jump into it. Heavenly Court has never been afraid of sacrificing. Fairy Ziwei's eyes shone sharply before her brows furrowed once again, but we need to modify the time path Immortal Gu houses and make them prioritize speed. In the future, we will prioritize on disturbing Fang Yuan. It will be a great achievement as long as we stop him from obtaining Red Lotus true inheritance. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1814, Pitiful Chi Clan Gu Immortals. Chapter 1814, Pitiful Chi Clan Gu Immortals. Immemorial White Heaven. A plain white cloud carried 6 Chi Clan Gu Immortals inside as it flew rapidly in the sky. Be careful, this is immemorial White Heaven. There are often immemorial desolate beasts roaming around. Currently, this route is quite safe, but we need to stay alert. After getting into that grotto heaven, we will be able to obtain heaven form this time. The rise and prosperity of Chi Clan is in sight. Chi Clan's Gu Immortals conversed in secret as they held in their excitement and joy. Even though they did not understand the use of heaven form, it did not mean that they would underestimate the power of this move. Because this was half an inheritance left behind by thieving heaven demon Venerable. Suddenly, their vision changed. The serene white heaven suddenly flipped like a pancake, turning into a huge and dark space. This dark space was like a huge ball that enveloped all 6 immortals of Chi Clan. Threads of silver light weaved like strings of a web, moving in all directions from the top to the bottom of the dark space. This is an immortal battlefield killer move. Who is it, who ambushed us? Quickly come out. Chi Clan's Gu Immortals were deeply shocked. After a momentary panic, they shouted angrily. Thus, a rank 8 immortal Gu house carrying a Gu Immortal appeared in a casual manner. This immortal Gu house looked like a small boat. The front was sharp and long, shining with silver light. At the bow of the boat, a Gu Immortal stood with his arms behind his back. He wore a white robe and stood silently as he smiled towards these Chi Clan Gu Immortals. This Gu Immortal had a handsome face, to the point of being beautiful. His black hair was long and reached his waist. This was a delicate-looking young man with peerless appearance at first glance. But the 6 Chi Clan Gu Immortals were completely stunned when they saw this person in this house. Chi Kai was the second supreme elder of Chi Clan. He was the bravest among them, but at this moment, only shock was shown on his face. Chi Jin was the third supreme elder of Chi Clan. He was like the other Chi Clan Gu Immortals, having a pale expression. His heart was thumping, a cold chill was spreading through his 4 limbs. Chi Clan's first supreme elder Chi Fa was usually composed, but at this moment, he panicked and said in a shivering voice, Fang Yuan, why are you here? Why are you finding trouble with us? Fang Yuan's appearance alone shocked these Chi Clan Gu Immortals to the point of being dumbstruck. Their morale was completely extinguished as it fell to rock bottom. A person's reputation provides shelter like the shadow of a tree. Fang Yuan's current demonic reputation far surpassed the previous life. Earlier during the second battle in the River of Time, Fang Yuan had announced the results of the battle to the world. Heavenly Court lost time and again. They experienced a severe defeat this time. Li Huang died tragically. By stepping on Heavenly Court, Fang Yuan's demonic reputation was causing tremors in the entire world now. Most of the Chi Clan Gu Immortals were so scared their bodies went limp. Fang Yuan was a great demon of this era. Why was he here to deal with Chi Clan? And even setting an ambush? Lord! Fang Yuan, my Chi Clan is a secluded clan that has never caused any problems for you or schemed against you. Is there any misunderstanding between us? We are willing to compensate and appease you. Chi Clan's first supreme elder Chi Fa said. Fang Yuan smiled, don't be nervous everyone, as long as you submit to me, I will let you live. As for compensation, why don't you give heaven form to me then? Hearing this, the Chi Clan Gu Immortals felt like their mood had sunk to the abyss. Oh no! Fang Yuan knows our greatest secret. How did he find out? He is an otherworldly demon. He has been reborn using spring-autumn cicada. The ancient bed is here, the goal of our Chi clan for thousands of years is about to reach its end, should we give it up now? I cannot accept it. Chi clan's Gu immortals had pained and complex expressions, they were fearful, they were angry, they were anxious, they felt hatred, and they were helpless. The strongest Chi clan Gu immortal was merely rank 7, they had spent a great effort to enter immemorial white heaven to begin with, how could they fight Fang Yuan? Hee hee. They were meat on the chopping block. Simply pitiful. Why don't we risk it all? Chi Kai gritted his teeth, he clenched his fists as his arms shivered. Risk what? Can we even win? You know about Fang Yuan's battle results as well, we will just be giving up our lives. Chi Jin said with deep helplessness. A peculiar light flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes, he threatened, I will give you 3 breaths of time to consider, if you do not submit, you can go die. What do we do? Chi clan's Gu immortals panicked, they were not sure of what to do, everyone looked towards Chi Fa. As the first supreme elder of Chi clan, Chi Fa had the highest authority, he was a skinny old man, but had great spirits, his back was straight like a long spear. But after 3 breaths of time, he lowered his back as he gave up, he cupped his fists towards Fang Yuan with a pleasing expression, Lord Fang Yuan, our Chi clan, submits to you. Ha ha ha, a wise person understands their circumstances. Fang Yuan laughed loudly, a bright light flashed in his eyes, none of the Chi clan Gu immortals dared to look at him, you have all made a wise decision. Bai Ningbing and the rest were waiting inside Myriad Your flying warship, after witnessing this, they sighed to themselves. The battle in Langya blessed land and the 2 battles inside the River of Time, they allowed Fang Yuan to step on heavenly court and gain immense reputation in the world. His demonic might was awe-inspiring, his name alone was able to make rank 7 Gu immortals surrender without putting up a fight. Chi Fa added, Heaven form belongs to you, Lord, but I would like to speak of the details regarding it, if Lord would allow us to. Fang Yuan looked at this Chi clan first supreme elder deeply in the eyes as he smiled nonchalantly, no need for that, I am not afraid to tell you that I obtained heaven form in the previous life, I killed many of you afterwards and took Chi Grotto heaven. Of course, some of you surrendered to me. After pausing, Fang Yuan continued, I am much clearer of the secrets involving heaven form than all of you. Fang Yuan's words were like a hammer that pounded into the Chi clan Gu immortals' hearts. They were dumbfounded but also in disbelief. Fang Yuan did not care if they believed him, he used his methods on each of them and took away all of their Gu worms. He was very clear on what immortal Gu these Chi clan Gu immortals possessed. After that, these Chi clan Gu immortals were kept on the deck of Myriad Your flying warship, as they stood in a daze and with pale expressions. After putting these Chi clan Gu immortals under control, Fang Yuan retracted his immortal battlefield, Yama Web. Yama Web battlefield was modified from Yama battlefield, it achieved Fang Yuan's intended goal, combining the power of time path into it, it was now stronger and more stable. Myriad Your flying warship had been repaired long ago, it flew rapidly towards the crucial location. After a while, the immortals saw that in the empty sky, a huge gatehouse appeared out of nowhere. The gatehouse had a tall roof and 2 statues at the side of the gate. There was a huge plaque above the gate, writing the words, 5 Xiang's bed entrance. The entire gatehouse seemed to be made of bronze, it radiated a majestic aura. Initially, it was only a phantom image, but as time passed, it became solid and clearer. After the gatehouse formed fully, a huge area of clouds gathered to hold up this gatehouse. Fang Yuan's subordinates were shocked, they were seeing this for the first time. Chi clan's 6 Gu immortals had complex expressions, a trace of hope was still lingering in the eyes of Chi Fa and the rest. At this time, the doors started to shine in 5 colors, representing the strength of the 5 Xiangs. First, red light shined down, causing the clouds to turn bright red. Fang Yuan smiled, looking at He Lulan, go. He Lulan was expressionless as she moved out of Myriad Your flying warship, flying towards the gatehouse. Fang Yuan waved his hand as an immortal killer move was used on her. He Lulan's body shook as she landed before the gatehouse. The red light surrounded her and faded away rapidly, acknowledging He Lulan's identity. Impossible. Oh heaven, what is going on? Her bloodline was recognized. Is she really a descendant of Xianxia clan? Chi clan's 6 Gu immortals were deeply astounded, they could not believe it. Fang Yuan turned around to look at them as he smiled, instructing the Rockman Gu immortals, go. Several Rockman Gu immortals were hit by Fang Yuan's killer move, their auras changed profoundly, they passed the inspection of the yellow light and obtained the rights to enter the 5 Xiang's grotto heaven. Seeing this, the 6 Gu immortals from Chi clan shook intensely. Some were even shaking so intensely like they would fall. Earlier, He Lulan was a human, she had a possibility of having Shui Xiang's bloodline. But these variant human rock men? There were only male rock men, they could not have children with other races. However, the gatehouse acknowledged them. The cruel fact stabbed into these Chi clan Gu immortals' hearts like a sharp sword. They finally abandoned all hope, they had to admit that this was the work of Fang Yuan's method. Chi clan's first supreme elder Chi Fa had a bitter expression, he surrendered to Fang Yuan earlier because he did not want to die, and also because he wanted to use the 5 Xiang's agreement in heaven form to coax Fang Yuan and find a chance to escape. But now it seemed like it was impossible. Fang Yuan's preparations were too ample, he came here prepared, all the different signs showed that he was not lying earlier. In the previous life, I'm afraid that Fang Yuan really obtained heaven form. He has spring-autumn cicada, he can start over again countless times. This is too absurd, who can stop him? The ancient bet, to think that an outsider would benefit from it, he. Chi clan's Gu immortals felt deep rage, some were furious at Heavenly Court's weakness, while some were dealt a huge impact, they were completely dejected. They had very intense emotions. And it was only understandable. They had arrived here with deep hopes and excitement, but abruptly, Fang Yuan ambushed them and took them as prisoners, the treasure that Chi clan had worked hard to get for so long, heaven form, was now in the hands of an outsider. The contrast was too big, it was too sudden and cruel. These people are so pitiful. Lady White Rabbit looked at Chi clan's Gu immortals as she felt some sympathy for them. Humph, Fang Yuan wants that treasure, how can they even compete? Bai Ningbing had a cold expression, she has the clearest understanding of Fang Yuan's methods. Next, several Gu immortals landed in front of the gatehouse, passing the bloodline test. Fang Yuan did not let Chi clan's Gu immortals in, they were still restrained on the deck, they watched as their places were taken by Lady White Rabbit followed by Fairy Miao Yin, obtaining Chi Xiang's acceptance. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing went together, they also got in. As for Myriad Year flying warship and these Chi clan captives, he kept them inside his immortal aperture. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1815, Reaching the Heavens in One Step, Chi Path. Chapter 1815 Reaching the Heavens in One Step, Chi Path. As their field of vision changed, Bai Ningbing focused and looked around, thinking, this is 5 Xiang's grotto heaven? As she thought about that, an unknown source of information appeared in her heart, she understood the arrangements of the 5 Xiang's immediately. This is a public grotto heaven, the heaven surveying 5 Xiang's had once donated a portion of their grotto heavens each to form this place. The entire grotto heaven has 5 segments, they are not directly connected to each other, only the most central mountain range is shared among the 5. The treasure of this bed is at the center of the grotto heaven, as long as a Gu immortal is acknowledged by the gatehouse and is teleported inside here, they can go after the treasure. Along the way, the heaven surveying 5 Xiang's have also set up some resources, stronger experts can try to take them away, but it is recommended that they do not take everything, so as to allow the resources to grow again in the future. Bai Ningbing looked towards Fang Yuan, hesitating for a moment before deciding to inform him. But Fang Yuan looked ahead as he waved his hand, I've already gotten the information, no need to tell me. Bai Ningbing nodded as she stopped talking. In the previous life, Fang Yuan faced a hurdle at the gatehouse, not only was familiar face seen through, causing him to be pushed outside, he even had to use the light of wisdom to deduce a killer move that succeeded in allowing him to enter the 5 Xiang's grotto heaven under disguise. After entering Five Xiang's Grotto Heaven, the information was not provided to him. He had only learned about it after Bai Ningbing told him. But this time, after Fang Yuan's modifications and deductions, he conceptualized an immortal killer move that could not only be used on himself, but also other people. So now, once he stepped into Five Xiang's Grotto Heaven, the information immediately appeared in his mind, telling him of the situation. Let's go to the peak at the center. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing traveled together. In the previous life, he had to rush against time because Chi Clan's Gu immortals were also here. He needed to compete with them over heaven form. But now, Fang Yuan chose to act in advance and kick his competitors out of the competition. This entire Five Xiang's Grotto Heaven was his. Even though the situation was calm now and he could relax and collect resources along the way, slowly taking it down, Fang Yuan knew that at the center of the mountain range, the immortal Gu house that contained heaven form might seem rough, but it was the control area of this Grotto Heaven. Once he gains control over the immortal Gu house, it would help with the movement of resources later on. While flying, Bai Ningbing was shocked to realize that Five Xiang's Grotto Heaven had a lot of resource points. Ice Mirror Snow Lotus, 100 Years Profound Ice, 1,000 Years Profound Ice, Mystical Frost Water, Heaven Craft Divine Jade, Jade Frost Antelopes. Even though there are no large or giant resource points, and all of these are just small or mid-sized ones, these resource points are so closely packed and each have a huge amount stored up. Since this place only opens up once 100 years, it has naturally accumulated many resources. Bai Ningbing felt envious internally. There was no question about it, these resources would all end up in Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. If she obtained them, she could expand her foundation rapidly, her assets would increase by multiple times, she would become rich instantly. But for Fang Yuan, this was just icing on the cake. The journey was very smooth. Fang and Bai safely arrived at the central mountain range. In the previous life, Chi Clan's Gu immortals made arrangements here and created a beast tide. They lured two immemorial desolate beasts to stop Fang and Bai, obstructing them and creating trouble for their advancement. But now, they were all captured in advance, trapped inside myriad-year flying warship. They were already unable to decide their own life and death. There was nothing special about the immortal Gu House Palace at the top of the mountain range. Fang Yuan lost his interest quickly. In front of the palace, there were many Gu immortals gathered already. They were all Fang Yuan's subordinates. They had entered before him. After paying respects to Fang Yuan, the Gu immortals reported what they saw along the way. Fang Yuan looked around. There was no surprise or anything amiss. He nodded as he led the immortals into the hall. Heaven form was at the center of this hall. It was shaped like a one-legged white crane. It was covered in pure snow-white feathers that had no dust or dirt on it. Its long beak was red in color. It was craning its neck and hanging its head. Its wings were tucked in as its eyes were shut tight, as if it was sleeping. Rank 9 Aura. Bing Yuan and the rest gasped and breathed in deeply as surprise and joy showed on their faces. Fang Yuan led the immortals as they sat around the heaven-form flying crane, instilling their wills into it. The gatehouse was the bloodline inspector for the Five Xiangs, but they did not do anything to this heaven-form killer move, thus, anyone could instill their will into it. All sorts of wills gushed in as they obtained the information left by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable the moment they entered. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable told them that he had once found a natural heavenly spirit in immemorial white heaven. After spending a lot of effort, he captured it but found that heaven form held deep mysteries. He could not refine it immediately even with his great strength. Thus, he designed the killer move heaven form and left this half-inheritance to a lucky person in the future. After the Five Xiangs found this inheritance, they did not back off. The ancient bet was thus created. The immortals understood the origin of this killer move. They gasped and sighed in admiration. Fang Yuan had heard this in his previous life. He felt no emotions, but he gained a new understanding of the existence of heaven form. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable has killer moves like Ghostly Concealment, Divine Concealment, Heaven Form, and others. They are able to exist indefinitely and would not break apart. In my previous life, I thought that this was the style of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, but after the Battle of Fate Gu's restoration, I noticed that all the Immortal and Demon Venerables had similar methods. This was true for Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, and Limitless Demon Venerable. These killer moves and methods all have vast power, they are able to exist for a long time. Normally, they stay hidden without making any waves, but once they are used, the effects are simply shocking. If only one or two venerables have such methods, that could be considered their specialty. But if all the venerables were like this, then it is not something regarding a path or a person, it is about attainment level. Every venerable had Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, this was a publicly recognized fact. Then this means Master attainment level generates intuition. Grandmaster attainment level allows mimicking of other paths. Great Grandmaster attainment level allows the use of natural Tao marks. Supreme Grandmaster attainment level allows killer moves to last indefinitely and operate on their own. Fang Yuan's thoughts moved quickly, even though he was just guessing, he felt like his hypothesis was likely to be true. Even though there was no description of this in the true inheritance that he obtained, with Fang Yuan having two paths at quasi-supreme attainment, he had the ability to take a peek at the heights of a Supreme Grandmaster. Hours later, Fang Yuan successfully took down the last bit of Heaven's Will inside Heaven form. This lump of Heaven's Will had used a tactic of showing weakness in the previous life to deceive the Chi Clan Gu immortals, they suffered a huge loss while Fang Yuan benefited from it overall. This time, Fang Yuan controlled even more wills here, he exterminated this stubborn Heaven's Will. No unexpected mishaps happened during this process. In the previous life, Fang Yuan was afraid that Bai Ningbing would betray him, but this time, he had more subordinates here, those variant human Gu immortals were very loyal to Fang Yuan. This was Fang Yuan's leadership talent, he was skilled at politics, after defeating Heavenly Court multiple times, his personal charm and grand aura surged overwhelmingly, he did not need to use any enslavement path methods to achieve this. The variant human Gu immortals were very obedient, while Shadow Sex immortals did not dare to defy Fang Yuan. Even though they were just refining heaven form and had to exterminate the remaining Heaven's Will, there was also a large number of sturdy Gu immortal wills that were inside the killer move. These wills were accumulated in the last thousands of years by the wills of the descendants of the five Xiangs. Without exterminating these wills, Fang Yuan would not be able to use heaven form. Thankfully, Fang Yuan was prepared for it, he modified several killer moves, including the one that used Wisdom Sword Immortal Gu as the core which had become his main method here. In my previous life, I used Wisdom Sword Immortal Gu alone, the effect was ordinary. Now that I have a killer move, I will gain control of heaven form rapidly. Fang Yuan stored away heaven form but he did not keep the Immortal Gu house, he directed the Gu immortals to control the Immortal Gu house and relocate all of the resources here. Five Xiang's Grotto Heaven had once devoured a 9 heavens fragment, it no longer faced any calamities and tribulations, but Fang Yuan could also not annex it now. After making the arrangements, Fang Yuan led the remaining immortals out of the Grotto Heaven, they went towards the direction of Chi Si Grotto Heaven. Within Chi Si Grotto Heaven, there was a rank 6 Chi Clan Gu immortal guarding it. But even the first Supreme Elder, second Supreme Elder, and third Supreme Elder had surrendered, this Chi Clan Gu immortal became stunned before he let Fang Yuan inside. After the Chi Clan Gu immortals saw Fang Yuan's heaven form killer move, they no longer had hope, their expressions turned pale. In the previous life, Fang Yuan ordered Bai Ningbing to attack Chi Si Grotto Heaven, she was even attacked by unlimited Chi Si. But this time, the heavenly spirit in Chi Si Grotto Heaven had not woken up yet, it was still sleeping. Lord Fang Yuan, how do you want us to move these resources? The variant human Gu immortals asked. Chi Clan's Gu immortals looked at each other as someone said anxiously, we are willing to defend this place for Lord Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, no need, watch as I annex it. His Chi Path attainment level was Grandmaster long ago. After the second battle in the River of Time, he repaired Myriad Year flying battleship and entered the River of Time, he captured his required immemorial year beasts. In this long process of searching, he stayed inside the ship as he explored dream realms, letting his subordinates handle the matters outside. He only took action when it was time to fight. Thus, he saved a lot of time, he could succeed in many dream realm explorations. Fang Yuan's attainment level in many paths had risen, especially Chi Path, it rose to Great Grandmaster. With this attainment level, he could annex Chi Si Grotto Heaven. During the process of annexing, the heavenly spirit of Chi Si heavenly spirit was rudely awakened, but Fang Yuan was prepared and quickly suppressed it. The heavenly spirit scolded the Chi clan descendants for being unfilial, while Chi clan's Gu immortals had defeated expressions, they were in deep despair. Eventually, they watched as their homeland was devoured by Fang Yuan, fused into the sovereign immortal aperture. He gained a vast amount of Chi Path resources that could not be calculated at the moment. His greatest gain was unlimited Chi Si. This killer move was the trump card of Chi Si Grotto Heaven, it was the key that allowed them to defend against tribulations. Unlimited Chi Si used rank 8 Immortal Gu Big Chi, rank 7 Immortal Gu Big Family Chi and others. There were countless Chi Path immortal materials, like Metal Chi, Water Chi, Fire Chi, and others, and also special ones like Luck Chi, Divine Chi. There was a variety of different types of Chi. In the previous life, Fang Yuan dismantled this killer move, but now that he had Great Grandmaster attainment level in Chi Path, his foundation was deep enough, he decided not to destroy it. And worth mentioning was that Chi Si Grotto Heaven gave Fang Yuan 1,000,000 Chi Path Dao marks. Fang Yuan's Chi Path foundation grew immensely, it was truly reaching the heavens in one step. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 18:16, Absorbing Chi Si Grotto Heaven. Chapter 18:16 Absorbing Chi Si Grotto Heaven. Inside the sovereign immortal aperture. Mini White Heaven. The Dragon Man clone smiled as he stretched out his hand. Before him stood a fawn. The fawn lowered its head before the Dragon Man clone, stretching out its tiny pink tongue and licking the Dragon Man clone's palm. Master. The fawn spoke in human language. It was not an ordinary fawn, of course, it was created from the obsession of Qi Xiang fusing with the heavenly power of the Grotto Heaven, resulting in this Qi Si heavenly spirit. Qi Si heavenly spirit had the appearance of a snow-white fawn, its eyes were golden in color, extremely dazzling. But on the fawn's back, near the right side, there was a deep wound that exposed the bones, it extended towards its stomach, leaving behind a dense amount of Dao marks. Dragon Man clone sighed, "Your injuries are severe, my methods might not work." This was the injury the fawn sustained when it used unlimited Qi Si against Qi Si Grotto Heaven's myriad tribulation. In the previous life, when Bai Ningbing attacked Qi Si Grotto Heaven, the heavenly spirit had fallen asleep due to its injuries, it was rudely awakened. The fawn was a heavenly spirit, it was a special existence created from the fusion of obsession and heavenly power. To heal the fawn, wisdom path methods were the most appropriate. Thus, Fang Yuan tried but had no success. Even though Fang Yuan's refinement path methods were stronger, he did not dare to use them rashly. It was not that he was helpless against one wound, but these methods were too powerful and uncontrollable, they were harmful to the heavenly spirit fawn. Very likely, the treatment might kill this Qi Si heavenly spirit. If the treatment kills Qi Si heavenly spirit, what was the point of wasting effort in trying to save it? For now, Fang Yuan could not heal this fawn. But this heavenly spirit did not mind that, it was in fact quite happy. After Qi Si Grotto Heaven got annexed, it did not die, it still existed. Every life form would have basic survival instincts, heavenly spirits were the same, they were inclined to finding a master and preserving the Grotto Heaven. Of course, they would only submit to masters who fulfilled their conditions. Or if methods like blood-light spirit suppression were used. Fang Yuan was thinking about the mystery of land spirits and heavenly spirits. The Gu world had countless mysteries, the more Fang Yuan interacted with them, the more he realized how little he knew. When ordinary Gu immortals annex apertures, even if land spirits existed, they would die when the annexation is completed. But the sovereign immortal aperture broke this rule, there had to be a reason for it. But Shadow Sect had no records of it. Maybe Spectral Soul Demon Venerable hid the details, or maybe Shadow Sect's true inheritance was not everything that Spectral Soul had. Or maybe even Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had no idea that the sovereign immortal aperture would end up like this. It was like how Fang Yuan could only understand the general concept behind an unknown immortal Gu that he just refined, even though he had such strong refinement path attainment, he could not comprehend it entirely. A newly created and unprecedented Gu was especially so, only by using it could the Gu immortal learn more things about it. Right now, Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture had many land spirits and heavenly spirits. Land spirits were more abundant, among them, Xianxia land spirit was the most unique, he was made from 2 obsessions. There were also a snake, star core, black hound, land spirits in all sorts of forms were scattered in different locations over the sovereign immortal aperture. They were all useful assistants in managing the sovereign immortal aperture, they were in charge of their own territories. Fang Yuan did not kill these heavenly spirits and land spirits, he preserved them. Now was not the time, in the future, he was going to understand the logic behind their existence. This was also why he wanted to save Chi Si heavenly spirit. After Chi Si Grotto heaven was assimilated, Fang Yuan placed it in mini white heaven. There were evident changes to the sovereign immortal aperture now. All sorts of chi were growing and interacting, mini white heaven had the most evident signs, countless white clouds were forming and spreading. The other 8 mini heavens were the same, they all had their own colors. These clouds were still like thin fog, they had not grown into cloud soil of their respective colors. But this was just the start. According to Fang Yuan's deductions, for the following period of time, different chi would appear in all parts of the sovereign immortal aperture. These chi were of different types of varieties, most were mortal gu materials. But after a while, after enough mortal level chi are accumulated, they would start producing chi path immortal materials. And after an even longer time, these chi path immortal materials would stabilize and create a special connection with the environment, that would be the initial formation of a resource point. If it develops well, these tiny resource points might grow into small, mid, and large-sized resource points. Of course, without human interference, the chances of the sovereign immortal aperture generating a large-sized resource point was simply too small, it was negligible. All these changes were due to the addition of 1,000,000 Chi Path Dao marks. These Chi Path Dao marks were the accumulation of Chi Si Grotto heaven. Now that Fang Yuan annexed it, these Chi Path Dao marks spread out and became distributed all over the mini 5 regions and 9 heavens. Each time he annexed an immortal aperture, he would gain Dao marks, the environment of the immortal aperture would change slightly. Like in the previous life, Fang Yuan annexed Beast Calamity Grotto heaven, gaining transformation path Dao marks, this caused the entire sovereign immortal aperture to produce a larger variety of living beings. For example, the ordinary foxes in many northern plains would reproduce and have a greater chance of becoming red foxes, gray foxes, wind foxes, cloud foxes, or others, even becoming mutated beasts like autumn water fox or flowing light fox. After annexing Xianxia Grotto heaven, he gained a bunch of time path Dao marks, the tributary of the river of time became wider. Fang Yuan could control the upper and lower limit of the rate of time to a greater extent as a result. Very evidently, randomly annexing apertures was not a good thing. Because the increase in Dao marks would cause the environment to change dramatically, without wisdom path methods to absorb these changes, the Gu immortals' development inside the immortal aperture would be ruined, they would lose all their assets. The living habitat of the immortal aperture world was always a tight chain. If one small species of grass became extinct, it could lead to a crisis for countless species higher up in the food chain. In comparison, the annexing of immortal apertures would cause huge environmental shifts. The reason why Fang Yuan gained from it was because the sovereign immortal aperture was too big and vast, it made these influences negligible when spread out. Most Gu immortals had tiny immortal apertures compared to this sovereign immortal aperture. When the same volume of water is stored in a bottle and a vat, the bottle would be full while the vat is only filled to a negligible amount. Other than that, Fang Yuan had deep wisdom path attainment, along with other paths that allowed him to easily deal with all the changes that happened. It was still okay when I annexed Xianxia Grotto heaven, but after annexing Chi Si Grotto heaven, the gain of 1,000,000 Chi Path Dao marks has made an evident change to the sovereign immortal aperture. Xianxia did not pass any myriad tribulations, she only had 70,000 time path Dao marks. In the previous life, Fang Yuan annexed Beast Calamity Grotto heaven, which had over 100,000 transformation path Dao marks. And this was because Beast Calamity Immortal had gone through one myriad tribulation before dying, the Beast Calamity Grotto heaven that he left behind did not pass a second myriad tribulation. Qi Xiang was very strong in the past. After all, the 5 Xiangs were united and dominated the 2 heavens, their reputation was high in the 5 regions, they were incredibly famous. After Chi Xiang died, Chi Grotto heaven was left behind. It did not devour any fragment of the 9 heavens, it still had to face endless calamities and tribulations. Difficulties led to wealth. After thousands of years, Chi Grotto heaven had gone through more than 10 myriad tribulations, each one gave around 100,000 Dao marks. Along with Chi Xiang's accumulations in his life, there were over 1 million Chi Path Dao marks. This was a shocking achievement. It was not easy. Myriad tribulations were terrifying, even rank 8 Gu immortals were fearful of them, they could only pass with great difficulty. But Chi Grotto heaven had survived for such a long time. Mainly by relying on unlimited Chi. The heavenly spirit controlled this move, and with sufficient rank 8 immortal essence, Chi Grotto heaven managed to pass each time. Of course, this move is incredible, it not only consumes immortal essence but also different types of Chi. By expending Chi, the immortal essence expenditure could be reduced, while also increasing this move's power. For the last thousands of years, Chi Clan's Gu immortals had been going all over the world collecting these types of Chi. Compared to it, Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven was just a child. Even though Xianxia Blessed Land had an even longer history, it had purposely fallen to a blessed land, it did not have to face myriad tribulations, the strongest tribulations it faced were grand tribulations, so it gained much fewer Dao marks. Other than that, Xianxia Blessed Land also used killer moves to influence the contents of the calamities and tribulations, allowing it to gain a large number of Water Path Dao marks. These Water Path Dao marks worked with the Refinement Path Dao marks, creating refinement water. In order to create a man-made secluded domain of heaven and earth, Xianxia Blessed Land had expended a vast number of Refinement Path and Water Path Dao marks. If I did not annex this Chi Grotto heaven, with the heavenly spirit fawn's injuries, it would not be able to survive much longer. With a few more myriad tribulations, this grotto heaven would be destroyed. Thus, one could not say that Xianxia Land's spirit's decision was wrong. If Xianxia Blessed Land was kept as a grotto heaven, even if it obtained 10 times the number of Refinement Path Dao marks, it would not exist until today. Fang Yuan continued to cultivate. On one hand, he was trying his best to assimilate Chi Grotto heaven entirely, on the other hand, he started practicing Chi Path killer moves. The consecutive hit method that Ba Shi Ba possessed was given up after Fang Yuan tried it. The most important thing now were Chi Path killer moves, especially unlimited Chi. The power of unlimited Chi was truly tremendous, it helped Chi Grotto heaven pass so many myriad tribulations. In the previous life, Fang Yuan lacked foundation and time, he also needed resources, so he dismantled the killer move unlimited Chi. But now, as a Chi Path Great Grandmaster who annexed Chi Grotto heaven, this unlimited Chi killer move was usable by him. The Sovereign Immortal Aperture's time flow was much faster than in the previous life as well. This gave Fang Yuan even more time to practice his killer moves. Fang Yuan's Chi Path foundation soared to a peak. After he turns it into battle strength, he would definitely gain a huge amount of strength that would surpass his current state. If my Chi Path battle strength is formed, it will surpass Time Path and become my main offensive method. 1 million Chi Path Dao marks, it is truly not a joke. By then, I can try to subdue Dragon Palace, I will be able to fight for it against multiple rank 8 Gu immortals, forcefully taking away this immortal Gu house. Fang Yuan's gaze was eerie, he had made his plans long ago. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1817, Training in Chi Path Killer Moves. Chapter 1817, Training in Chi Path Killer Moves. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, Fang Yuan practiced his Chi Path killer moves. Several immortal Gu moved in the sky, while a large number of mortal Gu flew around them like a tornado in the sky. Large amounts of astral winds were mixing into them. As rank 8 immortal essence was injected, these Gu worms' auras started to merge. But after a long time, the killer move was not activated. Sweat appeared on Fang Yuan's forehead. After more than 10 breaths of time, Fang Yuan barely controlled the situation. The killer move finally succeeded. It was unleashed. Chi Path Immortal Killer Move, Heavenly Astral Cloth Robe. A gray-white cloth robe appeared on the Dragonman clone's body. It looked like normal clothing, but upon closer inspection, one could see that every thread on this cloth was made of astral chi. This was a rank 7 killer move, but after the amplification of Fang Yuan's 1 million Chi Path Dao marks, its power had risen by 1,000 times. After inspecting it, Fang Yuan saw that while this robe was thin, it had incredibly shocking defense. It has rank 8 power without doubt. It is even stronger than Winter Coat. Fang Yuan sighed internally. Of course, it could not compare to Reverse Flow Protection Seal. A million Chi Path Dao marks was truly not a joke. Even through mere amplification, a rank 7 killer move could have the power of rank 8, and most importantly, the expended immortal essence is at the level of rank 7. After one myriad tribulation, a Gu immortal will gain 80,000 Dao marks on average. The stronger the tribulation, the larger the number of Dao marks obtained. Theoretically, after 3 myriad tribulations, a Gu immortal can become venerable. They would have at least 300,000 Dao marks. A million Chi Path Dao marks is on the level of something only rank 9s can possess. The core immortal Gu of Heavenly Astral Cloth Robe is only rank 7, after the Chi Path Dao mark amplification, it has reached the level of rank 8 peak. If the core immortal Gu is rank 8, after the Chi Path Dao mark amplification, would it have rank 9 power? Fang Yuan had a thought as bright light shined in his eyes. He recalled the battle in his previous life, and all the methods left by the Venerables. At the same time, his main body also made deductions. Soon, Fang Yuan's Dragonman clone shook his head. The possibility was small. Most likely, rank 9 killer moves need rank 9 immortal Gu. Dao mark amplification cannot reach this extent. Or more accurately, I cannot break through to that level using just a million Chi Path Dao marks. Maybe if I have 10 times the Dao marks, the quantity will induce a qualitative change, and reach rank 9 perhaps. Fang Yuan was not certain. Even though he was a rank 8 Gu immortal, when he looked up towards the level of a rank 9, it was still shrouded in complete mystery. In a purely theoretical situation, each venerable would start with at least 300,000 Dao marks. But from what Fang Yuan learned from Lang Yalan's spirit as well as his own experiences, each venerable was an absolute monster. They could not be looked at with logic or common sense. Just Limitless Demon Venerable alone, when he was a Gu master, he already possessed Gu immortal level Dao marks. At that rate, when he became venerable, how many Dao marks would he have? Fang Yuan could not imagine it. As for the other venerables, when they just became a venerable, would they have merely 300,000 Dao marks? Fang Yuan smiled. The possibility was close to zero. In this world, there were no invincible Gu worms, only invincible Gu immortal. If these people only had 300,000 Dao marks when they became venerable, how could they dominate the world and gain the reputation of invincibility? Right now, Fang Yuan was already one of the greatest experts in the world. He was at the peak. He could look down on most of the people in this world. There were few who could fight him evenly in a one-on-one battle. However, whenever he looked up, he could still see those 10 giant mountains above his head, concealed within the clouds. They were the 10 strongest people in history. Each was a legend of legends. Throughout the long history of humanity, they were the 10 most dazzling suns. Other than them, no matter who it was. Even the extremely talented individuals who were dazzling like the stars paled in comparison to them. Their tiny light was forever shrouded by these 10's shadows. Fang Yuan was no exception. He was able to reach this stage because he had relied on these predecessors, especially the venerables. Just looking at the sovereign immortal aperture alone. This belonged to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Even today, when cultivating, Fang Yuan would often sigh in admiration towards the heaven-defying advantage that the sovereign immortal aperture gave him. For example, the annexing of Chi Grotto heaven, under normal situations, who could annex it? Almost nobody. Unless Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable was alive now. Because immortal apertures could only annex smaller ones, the big and small here referred to foundation. In this world, only primordial origin immortal venerable had the Chi Path foundation to annex Chi Grotto heaven, which had 1,000,000 Chi Path Dao marks. And if the grotto heaven was dissected and annexed piece by piece, the losses would be severe. Each time a grotto heaven was cut apart, it would suffer immense damage. The Chi Path Dao marks that were weaved like a web would suffer huge losses. And because of conflicting Dao marks, Gu immortals could not truly gain many of these Dao marks. If Chi Grotto heaven was dissected to a certain extent, the winds of assimilation would start blowing due to its severe damage. The remaining portions of the grotto heaven would be destroyed in this case. But the sovereign immortal aperture could devour larger apertures. Originally, Fang Yuan had no foundation in Chi Path, but he was able to annex Chi Grotto heaven. This was not like a snake devouring an elephant, it was an ant devouring an elephant. The most scary was that with non-conflicting Dao marks, Fang Yuan could perfectly absorb his gains, he could assimilate every single Dao mark without any bit of wastage. It was too heaven-defying. No wonder the heavenly Tao could not condone its existence. In order to stop spectral soul, it nurtured the otherworldly demon Fang Yuan, plotting endlessly and sending him back 500 years to stop Shadow Sect's plan. The more heaven-defying the sovereign immortal aperture was, the more it showed how scary spectral soul demon venerable was. Every time Fang Yuan used spring-autumn cicada to rebirth, he could gain a deeper understanding of Red Lotus demon venerable's terrifying power. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Using the foundation of these venerables, Fang Yuan became the current generation demon overlord, but with every step he took, he increasingly felt the difference between him and a venerable. It was too vast to calculate. Fang Yuan felt no dejection whenever he looked up at them, all he felt was admiration. He had never been arrogant nor proud, he respected each of these predecessors. One could only learn from capable people. Mixed in with his admiration were traces of indescribable excitement. Even as strong as these 10 venerables, none of them could attain eternal life, they died one by one. Then, can I truly succeed? The possibility was as slim as none. In fact, as long as Fate Gu still existed, it would not allow any life form to gain eternal life. This was already confirmed within U003CU003C. The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003E. That is why it is interesting to pursue it. Fang Yuan smiled. After collecting his thoughts, Fang Yuan's main body continued to train his Chi Path killer moves. As for the Dragonman clone, after testing Heavenly Astral Cloth Robe, he flew away and looked into Treasure Yellow Heaven. He wanted to purchase many Chi Path immortal materials in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Many Chi Path killer moves needed to use these Chi Path immortal materials. For example, the Heavenly Astral Cloth Robe earlier needed a large amount of astral Chi. Using the Dao marks inside immortal materials to unleash killer moves was not a rare thing. Grandmaster Formation Path Gu immortals were able to use immortal materials to set up formations. Long ago, Water Path killer moves also used a large number of Water Path immortal materials in huge quantities. But afterwards, due to the absurd cost involved, Gu immortals chose to use Gu worms instead. They abandoned this method. This trait was most evident in Chi Path. No matter how low their Chi Path attainment level was, a Gu master, Gu immortal, would always be able to use Gu materials in place of Gu worms to unleash killer moves. The reason was that Chi Path materials were the most mobile and simple to use. Water Path materials were slightly less useful, while the Dao marks of earth and rocks were much harder to use. Fang Yuan did not care about this. He was very rich now and had abundant wealth. He searched and bought Chi Path immortal materials in Treasure Yellow Heaven. He did not ask for Chi Path immortal materials from Southern Borders Gu immortals. In terms of his Chi Path battle strength, he wanted to keep it a secret for now. Profound Yin Chi, Minor Sun Chi, Astral Chi, Domination Chi. I'll buy all of them. Blood Chi. The Dragonman clone looked as he pondered. Even though Blood Path was detested greatly, would any righteous path force not research it secretly? Thus, in Treasure Yellow Heaven, blood path Gu materials were very popular. These blood chi were just mortal materials, but the quantity was huge. If it were any other type of chi, Feng Yuan would not want these mortal materials, his sovereign immortal aperture could produce it. But blood chi was different. Not only did this chi contain Chi Path Dao marks, it also had blood path Dao marks. Therefore, it was considered a blood path mortal material. And blood path had a terrifying advantage: if the quantity was high enough, it could be treated as an immortal material. Such a huge quantity sold, this can be seen as an immortal material. The Dragonman clone thought of this as he hesitated no more, immediately buying it. Central Continent. What, there is no more blood chi? Guyu Fangzheng looked into Treasure Yellow Heaven with disbelief. You had such a huge quantity last time. The Gu immortals who sold the blood chi in Treasure Yellow Heaven shook his head. A few hours ago, an incredibly affluent Gu immortal swept the entirety of Treasure Yellow Heaven's market, buying all of the Chi Path immortal materials available. You also know that these blood chi can be accumulated and used together, that is why this happened. Guyu Fangzheng was stunned. Sweeping the whole of Treasure Yellow Heaven's market and buying all of the available Chi Path immortal materials, what sort of wealth could allow one to do that? Guyu Fangzheng had already become an immortal for some time. He knew deeply that wealth was a form of representation of strength. If a Gu immortal had immense wealth, it would mean that they own a large amount of resources. With such a foundation, it would help them advance smoothly in their cultivation journey. Maybe it is not a person, but a superforce's action. Guyu Fangzheng muttered to himself. His divine sense went to many more stalls, but there were no gains as expected. There was no blood chi left in the market. But Guyu Fangzheng cultivated blood path, he needed blood chi. After his divine sense left Treasure Yellow Heaven, Guyu Fangzheng started to think, do I ask the sect for blood chi? He quickly dispelled that thought. He decided to collect it himself. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 18:18, Heavenly Court, S. Righteousness. Chapter 18:18 Heavenly Court, S. Righteousness. Blood chi was very easy to obtain. One could get a bunch from killing mortal beasts and using blood path methods to extract them. By raising desolate beasts in the immortal aperture, there would be an endless supply of immortal material blood chi. Precisely because blood path resources were easily obtainable, blood path was incredibly threatening. The righteous path of the 5 regions prohibited it. If it were other immortal materials, Fangzheng might get help from the sect, but this was just blood chi, and Fangzheng did not need a lot. In Fangzheng's case, it was just a little troublesome to obtain the blood chi that he needed, he only had to spend some time. Thinking about this, Fangzheng informed Fan Shilu of his plan. Because of his unique identity, he could not leave Feihe Mountain casually. After Fan Shilu learned about it, he gave Fangzheng a mission. Perfect timing. There is a golden mountain ox at the northwest area wreaking havoc, go and settle that issue. Kill or enslave it. If you can capture it alive, you will get double the sect contribution points. Fangzheng's heart shook. The golden mountain ox was a desolate beast, he had never fought against a desolate beast before. But soon, he felt a little excitement in his heart as he agreed. Fangzheng was no longer the young lad from before, he had gone through many hurdles in Xianxia blessed land. After thinking about it, he made up his mind. He did not head to the Golden Mountain Ox immediately, he went to the information tower of Immortal Crane sect. White Crane Information Tower was an immortal Gu house with 9 floors, it was situated at a secluded area on the mountainside of Feihe Mountain. It was covered in deep fog and lush greenery. Fangzheng flew over on a crane. Even though he cultivated blood path, he had been tutored in Immortal Crane sect and was the disciple of Lord Sky Crane, he was familiar with the manipulation of flying cranes. When he was in Xianxia blessed land, he had participated in the huge war of 3 continents, he did not have a chance to subdue cranes, but he still retained his interest in them. But due to a twist of fate, he was saved by Feng Jiu Gu and returned to Immortal Crane sect. because Heavenly Court decided to nurture him, he became an immortal. With Gu immortal cultivation level, he even became a supreme elder of immortal crane sect. Fang Zheng easily obtained a crane for himself as a movement tool. Before White Crane Information Tower, there were no guards, only 2 desolate beast cranes were resting here. If anything happened, these cranes would appear and act as guardians. Fang Zheng rode on his crane as he got near White Crane Information Tower. The flying crane below him started shivering as its vocalizations became jittery. Fang Zheng could not help but sigh. This flying crane is a rank 5 mutated beast. When I was in Immortal Crane sect in the past, I felt that it was incredibly powerful, but now, it is nothing special. The difference between immortal and mortal is truly too great. After Fang Zheng landed in front of White Crane Information Tower, his crane almost fell down from fear. Fang Zheng sighed as he kept it in his immortal aperture. He had the status of a supreme elder. White Crane Information Tower was open to him without question. Fang Zheng stepped in. Every floor of the information tower had a large number of information path mortal Gu. If Fang Zheng wanted to obtain information from them, he would need to exchange for it using sect contribution points. The information tower itself could store information, but Immortal Crane sect would not do that. Because if the tower got destroyed, the information would also be ruined. This information tower was an immortal Gu house that only managed one aspect. It was like Heavenly Court's immortal Gu houses, it only had the power of information path. If it were a complete immortal Gu house, having both offense and defense, it would not need 2 desolate beast white cranes to defend it. Fang Zheng had no foundation in information path, he could not see the mysteries of this tower. But he could guess that this tower had some sort of arrangement towards preserving, transporting, and destroying these Gu worms. White Crane Information Tower had the ability to collect and update information. Most types of intelligence could be found in it. Of course, true secrets could only be obtained by the higher-ups. Even though Fang Zheng was a supreme elder, he could not become a higher-up of Immortal Crane sect. Because of his special identity, he was excluded by the rest of them. In the past, Fang Zheng was still ignorant and innocent, but after these years, he had understood these politics. He did not feel proud for having this understanding, instead he only had a bitter smile. He could now understand the circumstances that Fang Yuan faced back in Qing Mao Mountain. With Fang Yuan's situation back then, he was not welcomed by the higher-ups. In order to get stronger, he could only use schemes and robbery. The truth is, since the creation of Immortal Crane sect, haven't they been doing this all along? They occupy lots of resources. Many of these resource points were once owned by demonic path or lone immortals. And even though Heavenly Court is known for righteousness, that is not entirely true. Looking at history, all of its territory was snatched away from variant humans. Heavenly Court only represents the righteousness of humanity. Fang Zheng thought to himself. Other Central Continent righteous path Gu immortals would not think like this normally, it was a heretical idea. But Fang Zheng had lived with the hairy men. Even though he was ostracized, he had truly felt the culture and living habits of the hairy men, he understood them. How could other Gu immortals live and grow in an environment dominated by variant humans? His unique experience gave Fang Zheng a unique perspective. All his hardship in the past had now become his wealth. Even though his vision was not broad, it was unique. But one's position determines one's views and behavior. I still prefer the righteousness of Heavenly Court. Fang Zheng smiled bitterly as he inspected the information. Desolate Beast Golden Mountain Ox, this is the one. He went up several floors as he found the corresponding information path Mortal Gu. After his divine sense looked into it, he gained waves of information. The Golden Mountain Ox was large as a mountain. It was a female-only species and liked to eat metal essence. After eating several hundred kilograms of metal essence, it would enter a cave and sleep. Eat and sleep, sleep and eat. That's a good life. Fang Zheng laughed. He continued to look. The horn is the most valuable part of the Golden Mountain Ox's body. Every 100 years, the horn grows by 10 feet, it will continue to grow and extend, curving until it coils around the entire head, neck, and stomach. After it reaches the stomach, the sharp horns will turn into thick leather skin. As long as the ox moves its head, it would pull forward and cut the skin of its womb. The descendants that are called golden calves will jump out of this wound and become born. Fang Zheng's eyes flickered as he muttered, this reproduction method is quite like rock men. Fang Zheng continued to look. After the golden mountain ox gives birth, because the wound is huge, it would be in great pain, it would cry out loudly as it bleeds profusely. If newly born golden calves choose to lick the wound of the mother, the Dao marks on their tongue would heal the golden mountain ox rapidly, until they fully recover. But if they choose not to, the mother would die. The calves can drink the blood of their mother and become stronger rapidly, passing the weak period of being a calf quickly. Very interesting. Fang Zheng sighed to himself. The life of a golden mountain ox was to eat and sleep. This meant that after giving birth, if the calves choose to save the mother, she would not take care of them. After ingesting lots of food, she would hibernate. For the calves' own survival, it was more beneficial to not save the mother. Thus, most calves would watch as their mothers die, only a small portion would lick the wound and save her. When an ox gives birth, it often means a tragedy. But for survival, this is necessary, but I still like those calves who save their mothers more. Fang Zheng watched as he decided on his plan. He left the information tower. His confidence in this sect mission was completely different from before he saw the information. He decided to target the golden mountain ox's habits. Didn't it like to eat metal essence? Then he would make some metal essence, like how people used fish bait to fish, he would use metal essence to bait the ox. Fang Zheng had above average strength, having familiarized himself with many blood path immortal killer moves during this period of time inside his immortal aperture, he was able to fight against the golden mountain ox now. But if he could use half his strength, why would he go all out? The best way was to fight the enemy with wisdom, using all the advantages that he could find, to preserve his remaining strength for possible accidents. This was the habit that Fang Zheng had gained after the countless battles in his mortal life. Days later, Fang Zheng arrived at his destination. He entered the valley stealthily, leaving behind a large amount of metal essence at the area where the golden mountain ox often roamed around. When the golden mountain ox came nearby, it sniffed as brilliance shined in its eyes, it quickly discovered the deeply buried metal essence. The golden mountain ox started to use its hooves and horns to dig. Rocks were tossed as dust clouds rose, the metal essence was quickly excavated, the joyful golden mountain ox started to devour it. I did it. Fang Zheng watched personally, he was secretly overjoyed. He waited patiently for the golden mountain ox that had eaten its fill to go back to the cave and sleep. 3 days later, the golden mountain ox's cries could be heard from within the cave. Fang Zheng, who was sleeping, woke up in shock. After reacting, he cheered, the poison has finally spread, it is working now. But he did not enter the cave, he waited outside patiently. The intense pain of the poison made the golden mountain ox go berserk, it rampaged in the cave, causing the entire mountain to shake. The surrounding forest went into chaos as a large number of living creatures scattered. After a long while, the commotion in the cave gradually calmed down. Fang Zheng entered the cave now and fought intensely against the half-crippled golden mountain ox. After some time, seeing that the golden mountain ox was completely agitated, Fang Zheng left the cave. Fighting against the golden mountain ox in the cave was too dangerous. If it caved in, even as a rank 6 Gu immortal, Fang Zheng would be in trouble. And Fang Zheng was here to capture the golden mountain ox alive. He did not want to destroy the area and cause all the living creatures to lose their homes. Fang Zheng left the cave, the golden mountain ox followed. The two fought in the valley. Eventually, Fang Zheng used the killer move Blood Turns Cold to freeze the golden mountain ox and captured it alive. However, when he was about to send the golden mountain ox into his immortal aperture, a strong aura surged from the body of this golden mountain ox. At the same time, a bronze gold cauldron forced its way out of the golden mountain ox's body. This is... Fang Zheng was deeply shocked. At the next moment, a rank 8 Gu immortal flew out of the golden cauldron. Spirituality hides within the metal essence, divine light slumbers for 300,000 years. Owing to great fortune I see the light of day, with thanks to the martyr of righteous blood. This female rank 8 immortal sang slowly as she landed in front of Fang Zheng, smiling at him, little friend, you are the one who awakened me? Fang Zheng was dumbfounded, he had not anticipated such a situation. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1819, Sword Path Grandmaster. Chapter 1819 Sword Path Grandmaster. Immortal Killer Move, Golden Thread Sword. Fang Yuan shouted loudly as he used the killer move. Instantly, countless golden threads burst out of his body, stabbing towards his surroundings like a porcupine, piercing everything in their path. Crack, crack, crack. The 3 Gu immortals around him were pale and shocked. They wanted to dodge but it was too late. Their bodies and souls were completely penetrated by countless golden threads. Plop, 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 the 3 Gu immortals fell onto the ground, lifeless. Fang Yuan breathed roughly. This was a tough battle. After finally killing the enemy, he was extremely tired. The world he was in started to vanish until it was completely gone. Only Fang Yuan's desolate soul was left inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture's mini green heaven with heavy injuries. I finally passed the final scene. It was really difficult. If I did not use Unravel Dream at the most crucial moment, to find that tiny loophole, I would have failed for sure. After Fang Yuan's soul returned to his body, he still felt some emotions from earlier. This was a sword path dream realm. Inside this dream realm, Fang Yuan's strength was low, especially in the final scene. Every Gu immortal enemy was stronger than him. He had to keep trying and making use of the conflicts between these enemies to disrupt them, creating chances for himself so that he could remain standing. Eventually, after 100 tries and incredible luck, he managed to kill the last 3 Gu immortal enemies. But I passed after all. Not bad, my sword path attainment level has reached Grandmaster. Fang Yuan inspected himself. He became quite happy. He had quite a number of sword path immortal Gu, he only lacked sword path attainment level. This weakness was finally removed. In the future, his sword path battle strength would also rise greatly. After resting, Fang Yuan recovered fully and continued exploring dream realms. This is likely a human path dream realm. Fang Yuan's desolate soul arrived in the next dream realm as he looked with anticipation. Extorting Southern Border's righteous path was a correct choice. This gave Fang Yuan a large number of dream realms to explore. The value of these dream realms were extremely high to him. Because Fang Yuan did not lack resources, immortal Gu, killer moves, or immortal Gu recipes, he only lacked attainment level and actual experience. His desolate soul entered the dream realm. The world that he was seeing changed immediately. This was a battlefield. It was filled with smoke and dust. Shouting and killing were all around him. Clan leader, be careful. Fang Yuan had just taken a look when someone shouted at him. Fang Yuan sensed something amiss. He quickly dodged. However, his body could not move as fast as his thoughts, and intense pain assaulted him. Fang Yuan fell onto the ground, looking at the hole on his chest. Only half his heart was left. This. Fang Yuan was speechless. He shouted loudly, "Where is the healing Gu master?" But no answer came. The world started to spin. It turned dark rapidly. At the next moment, Fang Yuan's desolate soul suffered heavy injuries as he was pushed out of the dream realm. Using Guts Gu, Fang Yuan's desolate soul recovered quickly. After resting, he entered the dream realm again. Dodge! Fang Yuan entered and immediately dodged. Clan leader, be careful. The Gu master beside him shouted. Fang Yuan's movement suddenly froze as he suffered a fatal hit again. The moment he fell to the ground, he realized, the Gu master who called out to me earlier is a spy. He used an information path method that pretends to alert me but is actually a mortal killer move that restrains my actions. There are no healing Gu masters around me. With this spy around, I can only try to pass this using my own strength. In the dream realm, Fang Yuan's strength was greatly restricted. He could only use the abilities of the character within the dream. Originally, Fang Yuan did not want to do this, because he had too little time to react. He could not check the Gu worms that he had. Before he inspected them, he would definitely get killed. Fang Yuan could only accept his loss and try a third time. Plop! He died again. Back to reality, Fang Yuan was troubled. How can this be? I can't check my own aperture. How can I do anything without even knowing what Gu worms I have? The dream realm restricted him, he could not inspect what goo worms he had. Guess. That was unrealistic. Fang Yuan tried for a fourth time. Different from the previous two explorations, Fang Yuan used Unravel Dream this time. Clan leader, be careful. The goo master beside him shouted. Plop. Fang Yuan suffered a fatal blow, he fell on the ground. Clan leader. Impossible, Lord Clan leader has Justice Gu on him, how could he be defeated so easily? The traitor shouted beside him. After the exploration failed, Fang Yuan's desolate soul was thrown out of the dream realm again. Immortal killer move Unravel Dream only gave me one hint. The traitor spoke an extra sentence, pointing out that I have Justice Gu. Then let's use it. During Fang Yuan's fifth exploration, at the crucial moment, he used Justice Gu. Clan leader, be careful. The traitor screamed. Fang Yuan's dodging movement froze again. Justice Gu. Piercing white light burst out of Fang Yuan's body, his speed went back to normal as he dodged the fatal blow. Huff. I succeeded. Fang Yuan rolled on the battlefield as he quickly looked around, assessing the area. This was a village. Everywhere, there was rubble and corpses lying on the ground. The conflict between two clans. This is already at the step of exterminating a clan. But Fang Yuan found that he was not the victim, he was the invader, his side had the absolute advantage. This is a mortal level fight and I am the clan leader, by just leading these Gu masters, we can win. Fang Yuan had a calm and composed mood. But is the condition for clearing this dream realm winning the battle? Let's try. After that, Fang Yuan was joyful to find out that his aperture could be inspected again. The Dream Realm character had rank 5 cultivation level and many mortal Gu, there were 5 to 6 rank 4 Gu, and 1 rank 5 Gu which was Justice Gu. Fang Yuan immediately understood as he smiled, with these Gu worms, I can settle this myself. Be it leading the troops or fighting personally to obtain victory, it was extremely easy for Fang Yuan. Lord Clan Leader. At this time, the traitor appeared, showing a concerned expression. Fang Yuan smiled coldly, I will kill this traitor first. He attacked immediately, killing the traitor with one killer move. Clan leader, what are you doing? The vice clan leader is dead, the clan leader killed him. I was right after all, Chen clan is trying to take down our Shan clan. Rebel. Rebel. Let's take revenge for Lord Shan. Fang Yuan was shocked, he killed the traitor but half of the Gu masters started to rebel and attack. The scene fell into chaos, a three-way battle started. Fang Yuan noticed that this was bad, I have rank 5 Justice Gu, it can give me great strength. With my strength, I can still win and kill all opposition. But, this traitor should not have been dealt with this casually. As expected, even though Fang Yuan won, there were only a few Gu masters left standing on the battlefield. Corpses and broken body parts were everywhere, blood flowed like a river. The world dissipated as Fang Yuan's desolate soul was thrown out again. But this time, he did not suffer much injuries. This result made Fang Yuan gain a deeper guess, this means that victory is indeed the condition to pass the first scene. However, the type of victory is crucial. If the losses are too high, I will not be able to pass it. Fang Yuan entered the dream realm again with newfound knowledge. This time, he tolerated the existence of the traitor, he went as the vanguard and used Justice Gu along with many killer moves to slaughter the enemies, obtaining a perfect victory. Lord Clan Leader is so courageous. We have won, we are victorious. Nye clan has finally been exterminated. Ha ha ha. Amidst a wave of fun and laughter, the dream realm entered the second scene. Within the hall, bright lights were shining. There were delicious food and wine on the table, dozens of Gu masters were gathered here as they enjoyed a luxurious feast. Fang Yuan found that he was sitting beside the main seat, towards his left was Chen clan leader, who was sitting at the main seat. What is going on? Fang Yuan was shocked, in the previous scene, I was in the role of Chen clan leader, but this time, I actually became the traitor vice clan leader. Fong Yuan was seeing this for the first time. He did not know whether to laugh or cry. However, he soon thought, no wonder I could not kill the traitor in the first scene. Because he is the next character that I should portray. Now then, how do I pass this? Fong Yuan looked at the situation with cold eyes. Qin clan leader drank a huge mouthful of wine as he placed down the empty wine cup, sighing, we finally won. Brother, to speak the truth, I have finally relaxed only now. When I heard that Mia clan was planning to destroy the mountain, I could not sleep at all. They were unable to compete with the alliance of our two clans, so they created such a vicious plan. It was truly evil. Thankfully, heaven is not blind, they got what they deserved. These people died because of just deserts. Fong Yuan did not know what to say. This Qin clan leader was ignorant, he had not realized the ill intentions of this vice clan leader. But it was not surprising. During the first scene, even though the vice clan leader used an information path method, he disguised it as a warning of concern. There were no traces left behind. It was truly hard to notice. Fong Yuan had a sharp sense because he was a Gu immortal. He realized the vice clan leader's vicious scheme. When he tried to kill the traitor in the first scene, a rebellion occurred. Wait, even if the vice clan leader's members see him getting killed, they would not act so united, right? There has to be some people who are hesitant during the chaos. But these people rebelled in unity. After the vice clan leader was killed, they acted together and took revenge on the Qin clan members without holding back. Fong Yuan suddenly had a flash of inspiration. He understood, so that means that the vice clan leader's intentions to harm Qin clan leader is not his own plan, it is the collective plan of the entire Shan clan. Fong Yuan thought of this as Qin clan leader's expression suddenly changed. He held his stomach as he stood up, taking several steps back. This wine is poisoned. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1820, No Justice in Heaven and Earth. Chapter 1820, No Justice in Heaven and Earth. The wine is poisoned. Qin clan leader's body shook as he looked at Fong Yuan angrily. Vice clan leader Shan, this is your wine, what are you trying to do? This was a sudden change of events. Fong Yuan was slightly dazed. But before he said anything, the Gu master beside him stood up and chuckled. What are we doing? We are killing you, we are eliminating the Qin clan members. Throughout history, this mountain has belonged to Shan clan, be it Qin clan or Nia clan, you two were initially servants of my clan. You are bullshitting. This was my Qin clan's mountain to begin with. Our ancestors were kind and took in both of your clans after you were forced to vacate your destroyed mountain. Qin clan's Gu master rebuked in a loud voice. The Shan clan Gu master who spoke continued in a cold voice, shameless servant, there is no point in talking. It is too late now, your clan leader has already drunk this poisoned wine, we created this using woman's heart Gu, it counters your clan leader's justice Gu. Without your clan leader, how can you Qin clan members resist our Shan clan? Qin clan's Gu masters turned pale as they realized the problem now. Fong Yuan was dazed again. He turned around and asked the Shan clan Gu master beside him, who told you that woman's heart Gu can create a poisonous wine that counters justice Gu? The Shan clan Gu master was the vice clan leader's aide. He was stunned as he asked in a stupefied tone, what? Lord, didn't you tell me that yourself? What? Fong Yuan was speechless. Boom! Qin clan leader burst out with a blinding white light, the paleness and anger vanished on his face as his expression turned solemn. He stared with furious eyes towards Fong Yuan, he shouted in a heroic tone, Shan Xing. You unscrupulous scoundrel. You dared to use this vile scheme on me, I was wrong about you, I had misjudged your personality, I had actually thought that you were willing to sacrifice yourself for the big picture and hand the role of clan leader to me. So you were always afraid of justice Gu and my strength, which was why you chose to conceal your ambitions. Fong Yuan felt a sharp headache as he thought rapidly, Qin clan's leader has rank 5 cultivation level, I am only rank 4 now, my Gu worms are also weaker than him, if we fought, I will not be Qin clan leader's match. The aide beside him screamed in fear, what is going on? He drank the poisoned wine but Justice Gu is still working. Lord Shan Xing, didn't you say? Fang Yuan's eyes shined brightly instantly. He thought of the solution to this. Indeed, as long as Justice Gu stopped working, Chen Clan's leader would be poisoned, his strength would fall, he would not be an impossible opponent. So that's it. Fang Yuan died from the attacks of Chen Clan's leader, but he carried a faint smile. The second attempt at the dream realm. Within the hall, bright lights were shining. There were delicious food and wine on the table. Dozens of Gu masters were gathered here as they enjoyed a luxurious feast. Chen Clan leader drank a huge mouthful of wine as he placed down the empty wine cup, sighing, "We finally won. Brother, to speak the truth, I have finally relaxed only now. When I heard that Nye Clan was planning to destroy the mountain, I could not sleep at all. They were unable to compete with the alliance of our two clans, so they created such a vicious plan. It was truly evil. Thankfully, heaven is not blind, they got what they deserved. These people died because of just deserts." Fang Yuan laughed coldly, saying lightly, "There is a reason behind this. Nye Clan did not come up with such a vicious plan, I was the one who arranged it and deceived you. The people you killed were all innocent." What? Chen Clan leader was completely shocked. He looked at Fang Yuan in disbelief. "Brother Shan, did you drink too much? What nonsense are you spouting?" Fang Yuan looked at Chen Clan leader with an eerie gaze. "You are too naive, you were kept in the dark all along. You are a cold-blooded murderer. How many innocent people have you killed? Your hands are filled with blood, your justice is just a facade. You are a brute and a fool, also, you drank too much." What? You poisoned the wine? Chen Clan's leader held his stomach in shock as he fell to the ground. Chen Clan's Gu masters were shocked and fearful, while Shan Clan's Gu masters were ready and attacked immediately. Chen Clan's leader wanted to put up resistance, but he could only watch helplessly. Fang Yuan's aide shouted excitedly, "The wine was effective after all, Chen Clan leader's Justice Gu has been neutralized." Fang Yuan wanted to roll his eyes. To activate Justice Gu, other than primeval essence, the Gu master also needed to believe that they were on the side of justice. Fang Yuan's words made Chen Clan's leader enter a chaotic state. He suspected himself and felt incredibly ashamed. He could not activate Justice Gu anymore. The battle erupted and ended quickly. Shan Clan came prepared. All of the Chen Clan members, from clan leader to clan members, were all dealt with. When the hall returned to quietness, Chen Clan's Gu masters were either dead or injured. Those who were alive were captured. The second scene was passed. During the third scene, Fang Yuan was inside a cell. The only cellmate he had was that Chen Clan leader. He was covered in injuries, his vitality was weak, his face was pale, his eyes were dyed in a purple dark color, he was deeply poisoned. Fang Yuan looked at his injuries. He had obviously been interrogated and was on the verge of death. Even so, the four limbs and neck of Chen Clan's leader were chained up. He was lying on the ground, barely breathing. What is this situation? Fang Yuan looked at himself, speechless. He was also chained up, his body was old and weak, he was thin like a twig, he was in about the same state as Chen Clan's leader. Even though he had a rank 4 aperture, it was already destroyed. He had no Gu worms either. What am I supposed to do? I am not the traitor vice clan leader but another person now. Right now, other than me, only this guy is in the cell. I guess I need to talk to him to find out. Fang Yuan laughed to himself and wanted to speak, but Chen Clan's leader spoke in advance. "No need to mock me, father." Father? Fang Yuan was surprised. He was acting as the father of Chen Clan's leader. Then why was he locked up here? Looking at the situation, he had been kept here for a long time. He was not a new entrant like this Chen Clan leader. Chen Clan's leader continued, "Father, I was the one who defeated you and locked you in here. But I have never regretted it. You were corrupt, the evidence was clear, you were neither impartial nor fair, you were not fit to be Chen Clan's leader. According to the rules, you deserved this punishment. So you are the snitch." Fang Yuan quipped. Chen Clan leader added, "Similarly, I do not regret my current situation, I deserve this. I killed so many innocent people, my hands are stained with the blood of Nye Clan's members. I deserve death." He. Chen Clan's leader laughed pitifully. Shan Clan wants to force me to hand over Justice Gu, but what can they do? They're screaming, the sound of their whipping, the sound of hot iron scalding my flesh, all these sounds are like the cries of anguish and injustice of Nia Clan's members. I would rather they whip me more and let me suffer more pain. But this cannot atone for my sins. It cannot undo my mistakes. I want to die, just let me die. I deserve this. Ah! Chen Clan's leader grunted as he shook, he had died. His death alerted the guard. Soon, Shan Xing, who had taken his position, arrived. Damn it! We can't get Justice Gu now. Shan Xing was furious, he gritted his teeth. Suddenly, he turned around and looked at Fang Yuan with rage. Old timer, didn't we agree that you would urge your son to hand it over? What did you do? You are useless, go join your son. Crack. Shan Xing said this as he acted, chopping off Fang Yuan's head. The exploration failed. Fang Yuan's desolate soul was chased out of the dream realm again. This time, Fang Yuan rested for a long time. The third scene was the final scene. Fang Yuan's exploration failed, his desolate soul suffered huge injuries. While recovering, he thought about it. In the third scene, I am Chen Clan leader's father, but I am crippled, there is no hope in escaping with my strength. The key to this should be Chen Clan's leader. Then, what is the condition for passing the third dream realm? Fang Yuan had a lot of experience in dream realms now, he was the #1 person in the world. This question did not stump him for long, he soon understood. The first two dream realm scenes have different identities, but the conditions were the same. That was to satisfy the needs of the character. In the first scene, I was the Chen Clan leader, I needed to obtain victory with my clansmen, and it needed to be a beautiful victory without much losses. In the second scene, I was the vice clan leader Shan Xing, I needed to succeed in my scheme and suppress his Justice Gu. And now in the third scene, I am Chen Clan leader's father, my son locked me up in the prison cell for a long time, I want to regain freedom. Thus, I chose to work with Shan Xing to get my son to hand over Justice Gu, so that I can be free. Fang Yuan entered the dream again. Fang Yuan laughed coldly. Chen Clan leader spoke in advance, no need to mock me, father. You are my son, isn't mocking you like mocking myself for failing to raise you well? I simply regret it, I sacrificed myself for your sake, I wanted your justice to lead Chen Clan towards glory and prosperity, but to think that you would become a prisoner that does not even believe himself. I was wrong about you, had I known this, I would not have created fake evidence of my corruption. Fang Yuan said. Chen Clan leader was dazed, he was curious, father, what do you mean? Fang Yuan laughed coldly but did not speak. Chen Clan leader shook his head, no father, you were corrupt, the evidence was there, how could it be fake? Fang Yuan laughed coldly again, you think it is real, so it has to be real. Then what about Nye Clan's matter? Chen Clan leader was lost for words. Fang Yuan continued, I pretended to not care for you, but I was secretly nurturing you with great effort. To use Justice Gu, the Gu master needs to believe firmly in his own justice. Because you were too young, and your understanding of justice was too superficial, I had to do this and sacrifice myself so that you would understand your justice. Father, speak clearly, what was the truth back then? Fang Yuan chuckled, is the truth really that important? Chen Clan's leader did not hesitate, he answered immediately, of course. Without the truth, how can there be justice? That is why I said your understanding was too superficial. Is justice closely related to the truth? Fang Yuan said slowly, let me ask you, when you slaughtered Nye Clan, was it an act of justice? Even if they really had a plan to destroy our mountain, from their perspective, you are a murderer trying to slaughter their whole clan, by resisting you and defending their homes and family, wasn't that justice too? This. Chen Clan's leader pondered. The enemy of an enemy is a friend. From their perspective, the so-called plan to destroy the mountain was just a form of deterrence, they were afraid that our Chen Clan and Shan Clan would ally. But in the end, even though you wiped them out, they did not destroy the mountain, right? Fang Yuan asked. Chen Clan's leader was silent. Fang Yuan smiled, I see you realized their side of justice too. You triggered the battle, slaughtering the enemies and also causing deaths and injuries to our clansmen. You thought that it was an act of justice. Was that wrong? You were afraid that they would destroy the mountain's foundation. In that case, it would collapse as the spirit spring vanishes, lives would be lost and homes would be destroyed. You were thinking for your clan, you eliminated the problem in advance. That was not wrong. It was also a form of justice. Now look, both sides had their own perspective of justice, right? Chen clan's leader fell into deep thought. He had never considered this problem before. Fang Yuan observed his expression as he said, "Let me ask you, is it justice that a sheep eats grass?" How can that be a form of justice? Chen clan's leader was dazed. From the sheep's perspective, without grass, there would be no food, it would starve to death, it had to eat grass. But from the perspective of the grass, it had worked so hard to stay alive, getting out of the soil and growing larger to get more rain and sunlight. It worked so hard, but the sheep decided to eat it, even uprooting and devouring everything the grass had, without any hope for survival. Isn't the grass an innocent victim? Isn't it pitiful? Chen clan's leader shook his head. Isn't sheep eating grass just a natural thing? I have never pitied the grass because this is how the world is meant to be. Precisely. Fang Yuan nodded. The truth of this world is the law of the jungle. Big fish eat small fish, and small fish eat shrimp. This is what nature entails. What crime can there be? There is no such thing as justice here. Sheep eats grass, humans eat sheep. That has nothing to do with justice, it is just for survival. There is no such thing as justice in heaven and earth, there is only justice made by humanity. Since time immemorial, humans had to unite to gain strength for the sake of survival, in order to live in this cruel world. Then, how can humans become united? Through organizations, through law, and through morals. We organize clans or sects, distributing work according to an individual's ability. We use laws to restrain people, to tell people what they cannot do. We use morals to provide direction, to encourage people to do certain things. Mothers are doting and children are filial, neighbors live in harmony, they all follow the rule of justice and morals. Be it intentionally or unintentionally, from the start of time, any organization would always promote this, because organizations follow their own survival instincts. Or rather, the organizations with comprehensive laws, realistic morals, and proper class systems find it easier to survive. After a long time passes, this becomes the norm of society for the future generations. Chen clan leader was tongue-tied, he was completely stunned by Fang Yuan's words. He had never considered this. He knew that justice was good, but he did not know why. He knew that morals were good, but he did not know why. And now, Fang Yuan told him the answer: justice and morals were man-made creations. This could be either a conscious or a subconscious creation. People follow these guidelines and allow themselves to survive better in a hostile environment, they can stay united as a group for a long time. Fang Yuan concluded, when you understand the core meaning of justice, you will know, this so-called justice is like iron armor, it is a human tool. When you wear it, you need to use it like a tool. But look at you now, this iron armor has become your chain, it is binding you down. Chen clan leader looked at Fang Yuan in a daze, he did not speak. Fang Yuan smiled lightly, the truth and justice, are they really related? What is the truth behind Nye clan, what is the truth behind my corruption? What does this have to do with justice? Son, you must understand, your justice is just a tool, you must make use of it, do not get restrained by it. Chen clan's leader was silent for a long time. After a while, he said in a hoarse voice, "Father, I understand now." Saying so, a white light burst out of his body, it was dazzling and bright, filling the entire surroundings. This dream realm faded into nothingness amidst the sharp light. Fang Yuan's desolate soul returned to reality. The dream realm exploration succeeded. I guessed correctly. The father and son were both clan leaders of Chen clan, they hate Shan clan's action. If I help Shan Xing and Chen clan's leader hands over the Gu, even if I regain freedom, I would not pass the final scene. At most, I would be chased out without injuries. Only by teaching Chen clan's leader and resolving his guilt can I make him use Justice Gu once more to break out of this prison. That is the condition to clearing the final scene. This dream realm is quite interesting. Oh. I advanced to Human Path Grandmaster. Fong Yuan inspected himself and smiled plainly. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.